was a good laughter yoga session, guys. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that one.
I particularly enjoyed your downward dog, Christopher.
Oh my.
Oh my.
It's the crack of dawn in Mumbai. We're all locked out, and you are listening to Big Damn Cars.
Yes.
I am Christopher, a.k.a. The Deepest.
I am Mustafa, a.k.a. The Bluest.
And we are joined this week, once again, by...
Charlie, whose hat is like a shark's fin.
Hey!
Set him up and knock it down.
As you may have guessed, this is a very sharky episode of Big Dan Cast, because we're going to talk about the Jason Statham versus Giant Shark event. Calling it a movie is too kind. The Meg. But before that, we've got a couple of bits of news to get to. One quite serious, but first something whimsical and stupid. Rick and Morty fans are the worst. Episode 724. Yes, there have been more episodes of this feature than there have of our podcast. That is how bad. As a Rick and Morty fan, this is how bad Rick and Morty fans are.
It's amazing that we fit 700 episodes of that into 113 episodes.
Right?
It's incredible.
They don't. Yeah, they make it pretty easy.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. So this is something that was retweeted from Charania is the originator on Twitter, and I got it via a retweet from H Bomber Guy, who's ace.
He is amazing.
So there's a company called Drink Company who do like pop-up bars that are themed, and they wanted Their latest venture, announced on August 6th, was the Wubba Lubba Dub Pub.
Very good.
Which is their latest fandom-themed pop-up bar that is going to be a 3-tiered labyrinth of homages to Adult Swim's most popular cartoon. And on August 7th, they're showing off their I turned myself into a pickle Morty. And they had, we've got Pickle Rick backshots. Made with old Grandad Bonded and Gordy's Pickle Brine. Yeah, oh, very good. And they're in beakers because...
That sounds revolting.
I know, right? But anyway, then, on Friday gone, turns out that they're not allowed to do that because Cartoon Network turned around and said, you didn't actually ask us for permission? So... So we're going to need to work something out here.
Yeah, you think maybe that'd be one of the first things they'd want to do,
or at least do something where they really toe the line of copyright by calling it, pickle slick.
Yeah.
Which sounds naughty too. So you could attract a whole new batch of clientele.
Well, just off of Hollywood Boulevard in LA is the Scum and Villainy Cantina.
Excellent.
Which is it's very much the bar from Mos Eisley from A New Hope.
Well, they don't call it the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Everything is just off. Like the pipes behind the bar are more steampunky and less like the ones in the film, but they also resemble IG-88's head. So it's like little things like that where you're sort of like, oh, okay, you're chopping and changing.
I clapped when I saw it.
Also, when you rewatch that particular scene, the costumes that they're being worn, you could quite easily buy them from any costume store.
Most halfway competent cosplayers are halfway dedicated.
There's literally a werewolf mask in there. There is literally a werewolf mask.
There's a devil mask in there.
Yeah, like
the Deveronians. That's canon. Look that shit up. Don't look that shit up. This is Drink Company's statement about after they found out that they weren't going to be able to go ahead with this.
Oh God. Oh no. Right, hang on.
Okay.
Right, before this even starts. So, they go, hey everybody, we're going to do a Rick and Morty themed pop-up bar. Yeah. It's going to be amazing. We've already designed everything. We're already spending the money on getting all the bits and pieces in. Here's what it's going to look like. This is going to be great. Cartoon Network step in and go, excuse me, motherfuckers. You haven't actually asked permission from us yet.
Yeah.
Let's work something out. Let's decide something here. So they're basically saying, they're offering the olive branch of, we can work this out, or you can stop it. I'm guessing these guys have decided to not only stop it, but be really shitty about it.
Well, here we go.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Wubba Lubba Dub Pub was designed...
It's difficult to start an official sort of letter with...
Pub is all caps, by the way.
Wubba Lubba Dub Pub!
Yes! Yes.
Okay. Sorry, just. It's an audio podcast, you know.
Well, the Lubadub pub
Put a little Dutch in there.
was designed by fans for fans. But we think everyone would have enjoyed it. It was a labour of love and included hand-sewn meeseeks from our CEO Angie's mother, graffiti work by an incredible artist, a 25-foot Reuben cut out by our special projects director, hockey referee turned craftsman Matt Fox, and deep references to a show that has made us all laugh out loud and confront the deeper meaning behind the gags. In a word, we are fans geeking out. Turner Broadcasting / Cartoon Network wasn't willing to let us do that and demanded we shut down. We then reached an agreement and thus delayed for a week, but they changed their minds, threatened us with exorbitant fees, and then took everything off the table today and refused to talk any further. The whole time we were operating in good faith and willing to make concessions to bring this wonderful work of fan art to life. And then do I need to go to the next one? Yes.
We are entitled to this thing of which we own nothing.
Now we have to lay off our beloved employees and take a massive financial hit, all because Turner Broadcasting and Cartoon Network are unwilling to figure out a way to let a great fan tribute happen. We are so sorry to all the fans.
It's not up to them to make that happen.
We are so sorry to all the fans, but we have also learned a valuable lesson. And it's not make sure you get the rights to something before you do something based on someone else's IP. It's when it comes to free speech and fair use, Turner Broadcasting and Cartoon Network believes that that should only be a joke on the show. If you have something to say to Turner, see handles below.
Oh,
and then provide the Twitter and Instagram links for Turner, the Rick and Morty Twitter, Instagram, Adult Swim, the Rick and Morty and Adult Swim Facebook pages and all that stuff.
Well, this is the thing, like, if it was a piece of fan art, as they keep claiming it to be, that's one thing, because that's not something that turns the organisers a profit, or the designers, creators a profit. This is literally a business event that they're setting up through their business, and they've forgotten how to business. They're businessing badly, and they're blaming someone else.
Yeah, they're blaming a company for going after their IP, for protecting their IP. But the problem is, some companies can be a bit too litigious for people who are genuinely doing fair use stuff. And,
Nintendo for example, says so much that we both immediately said that word. So that is out there.
Not only is this not fair use by any stretch of the imagination, but the problem with copyright law and the way it works is that you have to actively defend your IP and copyrights. Otherwise, because of precedents set in other legal cases, they can be taken off you or made public domain. Which is why you often get fan projects shut down when they get to a certain size, because unfortunately, because of the way copyright laws work, that's just what has to be done to protect those copyrights.
Which is why the successful ones that are still out there that are big immediately proceed with the whole, this is a not-for-profit, makes a statement up front, we're just doing this because we love it, no one earned money from this, please don't sue us. And the companies tend to then go, yeah, don't worry about it, it's fine, that's cool.
Or in the example of, carrying on with the kind of video game example, why, X people from Rare, or X people from Konami, or X people from Capcom have gone on to make kind of spiritual successors to those original things. Sort of taking inspiration from them, for better or worse in some cases.
Mighty Number 9.
With Mighty Number 9. And ending up with things like Ukulele and what's the Castlevania? Bloodstain. Which take the inspiration that those original IPs kind of sort of stirred up, but aren't trampling all over the IP itself.
Not that the Konami ones would have to worry, because Konami don't make games anymore.
But in this case, this is a flagrant kind of use of someone else's IP, and you're then kind of throwing your toys away, out the pram, when the owner of which comes after you and goes, "Would you mind?"
Would you mind not?
It's taking someone else's stuff, and then kicking up a hissy fit when they ask you not to.
Once again, Rick and Morty fans
are the worst. What is it though about Rick and Morty specifically? Because do you think
people watch the show and be like, oh, Rick's so cool, he doesn't care, he does whatever he wants, he doesn't obey the social norms, and they don't realise that, like, he's a fucking despicable.
There are
prick.
There are people
he's the worst person.
There are people out there who are internet edgelords who get a hard-on from the nihilistic through line of Rick's character and the show's opinion and point of view from certain characters and in certain stories. And they just, for some reason, decide, this show gets me. If you don't get me, then you don't really care about this show like I do. So I'm going to open up a bar, and it's going to be amazing. And we don't need permission. Screw that.
Rick wouldn't ask permission.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Rick wouldn't ask permission. You know, permission's for squares. It's like...
I'm so surprised they didn't just say, like, you know, Turner and Cartoon Network are a bunch of Jerrys. Do you know what I mean? Just like, they were one more sentence away from just, oh, crap. And here's the thing. It's entirely possible that Cartoon Network did just say, right, let's have a private communication. Got in touch with them and went, look, we'd rather you just shut this down.
Well,
they were within their rights to just go, absolutely not.
That's what they were saying. They were saying that they had...
they had a discussion and it got to that. They also suggest, though, that, you know, that they were looking to take an extortionate cut of it. Again, well within their right to do so. But at the same time, based on the attitude of that, like, sign-off letter, I wouldn't be surprised if they went into the initial chat with Cartoon Network and Turner guns blazing and immediately made them go, yeah, we don't want to do business with these guys, shut them down completely. Like, they probably went in, considering they got in touch with them publicly in the first place, they probably went in to be like, all right, you can't really do this without us. Sorry. Here's how we're going to do it. We'll take, like, this much of a profit, and la la la, and blah 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 blah. Cheers. And they've gone, no, that's our money, and then been shitty about it.
Yeah.
So this could have been the start of something kind of cool. The idea of licenses sort of loaning out the rights to a degree to events.
Like, whether or not Cartoon Network came in...
You can name a drink after something from a TV show, that's fine, as long as you're not using the character on your promotional artwork and sticking it in your establishment. Like, that's cool. These guys could have bridged that gap had they been civil about it.
Yeah, exactly. And like, even if Cartoon Network had come down on them like a ton of bricks and said, shut the thing down, absolutely not, there is no way on hell, earth, or whatever other dimension you happen to want to go through that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
They're still within their rights to do that.
Yeah.
They're not wrong to do that, because like you said, Matt, like, the idea of owning IP and the part of the whole thing with copyright law is that it needs to constantly be a kind of offensive, like, an offensive defense otherwise it gets abused.
I think that is a problem with copyright law. I think copyright law in and of itself is problematic because Disney keep extending it because they don't want to lose that mouse.
Yeah.
And as such, it is allowing an enormous company to hold on to more and more and more and more and more properties. And
they become like that.
They're becoming monolithic.
The dragon hoarding its golden coins.
Especially with the Fox merger, which is this whole other brand of awful.
I am Mouse, destroyer of worlds.
He is Mouse, destroyer of worlds. But, you know, it's...
So once again, fuck Rick and Morty fans.
As bad as copyright law is, it is there to protect people who have good ideas and who are entitled to earn money off the back of those ideas. It's also abused by corporations to keep, like you say, dragons hoarding their gold, but it does also protect smaller creators, so it's important to respect it in that way.
Rick and Morty fans, they are why we can't have nice things.
Also Star Wars fans.
Oh, Christ.
You are no doubt all aware, because you should be, because it was fucking stupid. Kelly Marie Tran was abused and harassed so badly on social media that she deleted all her Instagram posts over the summer in response. She's been silent for a bit over it, but recently she penned an open letter that was published in the New York Times today, actually, as we're recording this, is the August 21st.
Year of our Lord,
which
2018.
Explains the thoughts and feelings behind that. And I'm just going to read the whole thing because I think it's got an important message. It's going to be slightly weird because I'm not a woman or a person of colour, and I'll be referring to myself in the first person as those things, but hey, just go with it, alright?
Just imagine. Theatre of the mind, people. Theatre of the mind.
This is... this is Kelly Marie Tran, an open letter published on New York Times. It wasn't their words, it's that I started to believe them. Their words seemed to confirm what growing up as a woman and a person of colour already taught me, that I belonged in margins and spaces, valid only as a minor character in their lives and stories. And these words awakened something deep inside me, a feeling that I thought I'd grown out of. The same feeling I had when I was 9. I stopped speaking Vietnamese altogether because I was tired of hearing other kids mock me. Or at 17, when at dinner with my white boyfriend and his family, I ordered a meal in perfect English to the surprise of the waitress, who exclaimed, "Wow, it's so cute that you have an exchange student." The words reinforced the narrative I had heard my whole life, that I was other, that I didn't belong, that I wasn't good enough simply because I wasn't like them. And that feeling, I realise now, was and is shame. A shame for the things that made me different, a shame for the culture from which I come from. And to me, the most disappointing thing was that I felt it at all. Because the same society that taught some people they were heroes, saviours, inheritors of the manifest destiny ideal, taught me I existed only in the background of their stories, doing their nails, diagnosing their illnesses, supporting their love interests, and perhaps the most damaging, waiting for them to rescue me. And for a long time, I believed them. I believed those words, those stories, carefully crafted by a society that was built to uphold the power of one type of person, one sex, one skin tone, one existence. It reinforced within me rules that were written before I was born, rules that made my parents deem it necessary to abandon their real names and adopt American ones, Tony and Kay. So it was easier for others to pronounce, a literal erasure of culture that still has me aching to the core. And as much as I hate to admit it, I started blaming myself. I thought, oh, maybe if I was thinner, or maybe if I grow out my hair, and worst of all, maybe if I wasn't Asian. For months, I went down a spiral of self-hate into the darkest recesses of my mind, places where I tore myself apart, where I put their words above my own self-worth. And it was then that I realised I had been lied to. I had been brainwashed into believing that my existence was limited to the boundaries of another person's approval. I had been tricked into thinking that my body was not my own, that I was beautiful only if someone else believed it, regardless of my own opinion. I had been told and retold this by everyone, by the media, by Hollywood, by companies that profited from my insecurities, manipulating me so that I would buy their clothes, their makeup, their shoes, in order to fill a void that was perpetuated by them in the first place. Yes, I have been lied to. We all have. And it was in this realisation that I felt a different shame. Not a shame for who I was, but a shame for the world I grew up in. And a shame for how that world treats anyone who is different. I am not the first person to have grown up this way. This is what it is to grow up as a person of colour in a white-dominated world. This is what it is to be a woman in a society that has taught its daughters that we are worthy of love only if we are deemed attractive by its sons. This is the world I grew up in, but not the world I want to leave behind. I want to live in a world where children of colour don't spend their entire adolescence wishing to be white. I want to live in a world where women are not subjected to scrutiny for their appearance, or their actions, or their general existence. I want to live in a world where people of all races, religions, socio-economic classes, sexual orientations, gender identities, and abilities are seen as what they have always been, human beings. This is the world I want to live in, and this is the world I will continue to work toward. These are the thoughts that run through my head every time I pick up a script, or a screenplay, or a book. I know the opportunity given to me is rare. I know that I now belong to a small group of privileged people who get to tell stories for a living, stories that are heard and seen and digested by a world that for so long has tasted only one thing. I know how important that is, and I am not giving up. You might know me as Kelly. I am the first woman of colour to have a leading role in a Star Wars movie. I am the first Asian woman to appear on the cover of Vanity Fair. My real name is Loan, and I am just getting started.
Wow.
Kelly Marie Tran is fucking great, guys.
Wow.
We have to do better, like, as a society. Like, this is why on a podcast that is basically two white dudes banging on, two white straight cis dudes banging on about inclusivity and diversity and stuff like that, is because we come from a position of relative privilege, so we have a fucking responsibility to ensure that we make ourselves open to that diversity, and everyone does. like, if you're in that position of privilege, then you just have to. You have to open it up to everyone else, or we're not going to get any better. And that's why I like to bang on about inclusivity and diversity, because it's just it's not good enough. We're not doing well enough. We're not doing enough.
No, and then you think for all the kind of steps forward that we take, and then for the kind of level of abuse that Kelly Marie Tran received, to be so toxic and so relentless, so as to force her away from the spotlight completely. And clearly, she is a strong-willed, intelligent, sort of powerful woman in her own right. And for that to sort of, for her to still be driven away like that, it shows that there is still far more work to be done. There's like hearts and minds take longer to change than any kind of policy. I know, I grant you.
I think the thing that troubles me, though, is that why do those fucking hearts and minds need changing, man? And I think she gets to the root of it in that the sort of society we live in and consumerism particularly sort of creates those beliefs. But like, what's the fucking problem? I don't. Yeah, exactly. What is the problem? Why do people feel the need to hound her off Instagram in the fucking first place?
Mm.
And what?
Because, like she said, she's the first.
Yeah,
she's the first person to be put in the position at Star Wars. The first person to be put on, was it Vanity Fair?
Vanity Fair, first Asian
and
woman on the cover.
So she
the first Asian woman on the cover of fucking Vanity Fair. Yeah. Like, how long fucking Vanity Fair been going for?
Well, a while.
Yeah,
like so it sort of, without meaning to be, she is essentially the first. She's the first one putting her head above the parapet.
Yeah.
And so, but the fact that she's being shot at, that's the issue there.
Yeah.
Like, why are people kind of got their, why have people got their,
what's the fucking
quivers
problem?
ready to shoot her down?
Because in terms of like why she was a target on the surface level of it all when that film came out, people just decided to attach their distaste for the movie. People who really didn't enjoy Last Jedi decided she's the reason. Or she's the punching bag for us to make it clear. We don't like your character, so we don't like you. And in expressing that, we are going to describe you like this. We are going to insult you because of this. That's the... Do you know what I mean? Like, it's... And again, I say this as the person in the room who didn't like The Last Jedi. It is not her fault, nor her characters, and she doesn't deserve even a lick of criticism based on herself, her appearance, her family, her ethnicity, because you didn't like a film. Grow the fuck up.
We've touched on this before of how I don't understand how people have taken this to such extremes in that the reasons that they don't like this movie, and this is why people who have genuine actual criticisms of it as a piece of work, as a film, hello, aren't always taken seriously and just dismissed out of hand, because there is, and it was the same with the Ghostbusters movie, the Ghostbusters 2016 movie, and it's been we've seen it in a lot of franchises recently. We've seen it in the MCU movies to a degree as well. But like, so much of the backlash, of the negative stuff that is said about these projects is because it's got too many women in it, or it's got too many people of colour in it, and why is that an issue?
Why should that? Yeah, why is that being used as a criticism at all?
Yeah, why is that? But and it's.
But this is like I said last time I was here, is when equality to people that are privileged feels like something's being taken away. When in fact it is not.
And that's the most common thing that you see when people sort of try and get to the root of this. It is people who are in a position of privilege feeling like they're having something taken away. And I don't.
It was brought to light today. Actually, it was reiterated amidst the whole Rahaya James Gunn thing that previous Marvel CEO Ike Perlmutter left Marvel in 2015. He was sort of removed, really, wasn't he? It was sort of like complaints
there was the company. There was rebellion in the ranks against
people
him.
People
quit
were not fans and stuff.
Yeah.
And eventually he left. And Kevin Feige's been quite open about the fact that the only reason we have Black Panther now and Captain Marvel now is because these were movies he's been pushing since the MCU project took off proper after Iron Man 2. And like Perlmutter each time was like, they don't sell toys. Is that what you mean they? He's like, they don't sell toys. Specifically referring to women and people of colour in the lead role. And it's because he obviously there's some kind of whether it be from a business standpoint doesn't justify it, but whether it be from that point of view or just his own insecurities.
But that's the
like, do you know what I mean?
That's what we're working against. We're working against that generation that is so ingrained in the belief that women don't sell toys to boys, people of colour don't sell toys to white kids. It's like, why does it even matter? It only matters because you keep making it matter.
Yeah, you think of that level of closed-mindedness is being expressed at the top level of those decisions. So that stuff trickles down. Yeah. And then it kind of, it's the kind of thing that kind of becomes self-perpetuating in a way. Yeah. That this stuff doesn't sell toys, so we therefore will not make the thing, so of course it's not going to sell toys. Yeah. Just through nature of it not.
Because they're not fucking on the shelf. Like,
they're not there.
The Rey toys aren't selling for The Force Awakens. You didn't fucking release any.
Yeah.
Like, of course they're not. But the Movie Bob did a recent video on the James Gunn thing, where he had a really good analogy that I quite liked about the guy whose name I can't remember, who's basically the guy who fired James Gunn. And he's the Disney exec. And like, the reason they're not going to hire James Gunn back is because he's got to look like he's got the biggest, strongest dick at that company. Yeah. And wave it around. So even if it is the right thing to do, if he reneges on that, then he looks weak.
Because we're in an age of Trumpism where admitting any kind of fault...
And that's not even Trumpism, that's just like corporate, particularly America. But, you know, most... predominantly white, developed countries, I think.
Because it's the kind of tactic that you know that I bring that up as an example just because it's the tactic that both Boris Johnson and Donald Trump use, in that they'll say these things, these sort of outlandish things, sometimes, often, and then will not ever back down from them because to do that, to be kind of introspective and have a think. Yeah. That is somehow seen as a sign of weakness.
I think the only time I can think of Trump, particular, of saying something. This wasn't specifically to do with, say, race or what have you, but the only time he's ever sort of backed down, he did it in an offhanded way. It was the Helsinki summit, where the day after they were saying like, I couldn't think of any reason why Russia would interfere with the election. He says that in the room with Putin, and then the next day he says, what I was meant to say was wouldn't. I don't think of any reason why I wouldn't. And the way it's presented was as a, you lot misheard me.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. Just admit that you were a big pussy from like a superpower that is damaging your entire government.
And it's difficult.
It's that, like I say, it's the swinging the big dick around. So if Disney bring back James Gunn, they bring him back in a different role entirely, so that the head of the Disney guy who made the call, can save face.
Because they're all
like, I fired him from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And that still stands.
Not Bob Iger, the other guy.
I want to say Ian. Is it Ian something?
Ian Legneck. I'll have a quick look.
David something. David...
I've got Ian in my head.
David Billyham, hey.
No, anyway, yeah. So it's...
Mr. Disney.
But it's that a combination of...
there he is.
Like, institutionalized racism, patriarchal structures in corporate structures, and toxic masculinity within those circles just reinforce that this is the way it is and that's the way it's got to be, and I can't change my mind or give in because it'll be a sign of weakness and then I won't get the next promotion. Like, it's like you said, that trickles down even to the very bottom of the
because it's the similar kind of mindset, but just exercised in a very different way. Like
because that's what people want to, in that sort of American dream setting, and to a lesser degree in this country, where you know you are led to believe that you can go from the bottom of the working class to the very top.
You work
of the
real
food
hard.
chain,
You work real hard. You pray real
that
well.
That is the attitude that people, some people think is what you need to get you there, which is why it's become so prevalent in even in the younger generation, but particularly with like people who are now in their late 40s to early 60s and at the top of these corporations. I think that's part of why it's been like that for so long, but I think the people underneath are starting to change what they can, which is why we're seeing more and more of this. And even from a cynical point of view, it's probably just some companies are just realising, oh, you know what, if we diversify, we can actually sell more.
That's the thing, is like, even if Kevin Feige is coming into this with the most cynical mind possible...
Yeah.
And this is a kind of sidebar from the Kelly Marie Tran thing.
Yeah.
But even if he is coming at this with the most cynical mind possible, it's just good business.
Yeah. It's...
Appeal... Like,
don't
shut these doors. Don't present one type of person in one kind of scenario and one. Like,
it gets boring.
There's so much. There's such a huge breadth of diversity out there through race, through genders, different gender stories and different orientation stories. That the idea of just focusing so exclusively and for so long on one type of person's story.
I think you get it a lot in games where people like to get really upset if there's a protagonist that isn't a bloke, who isn't white, who isn't like straight, and it's like, but no, like video games allow you to inhabit other people. So why would you want to inhabit someone who's just the same as you? I understand that there is a degree of wish fulfillment and power fantasy in it, but
surely that comes just from controlling the character. And
surely that comes from being powerful in a game world. Which
I bet these people aren't moaning when you're playing as a robot.
Exactly.
Like it's not. It's because robots aren't taking any. Well, not yet. Anyway, they're not. They're not taking anything away from you just yet.
Yeah. So it's something that I have never really, like, I don't need someone to be the same race or gender as me to relate to them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because, like, empathy isn't about, this person is exactly like me.
So, like, there are certain things that are universal. There's more that is universal about people than I think
the human experience.
Yeah, I think we like to admit, like, yeah, we're all born and we're all going to die, and there's a lot of stuff that happens to a lot of people in the middle that is a shared experience.
Yeah.
I think we don't, it's not necessarily to do with race, gender, sex orientation, anything like that. Like, yeah, so...
Well, I think...
Fucking Kelly Marie Tran is absolutely boss for
and having
putting it out there.
Having had weathered as toxic a storm as she has done, and to respond with such grace, and without any kind of without anger, with just kind of this like really thoughtful, a brilliant piece.
Yeah.
Like it says a lot about her as a person that she's able to handle, because I can't even imagine what having to deal with that must have been like.
That must have been just awful.
It must have been terrible, and for her to deal with it in such a positive way.
Yeah, and I think that's
what an amazing person.
That's the way we're going to move forward.
Yeah, exactly.
It's people having the strength to do that and meet this stuff with positivity. I'm not saying be civil to the Nazis. It's a different thing. So, but yeah, trying to respond to this adversity with positivity. That's the way we're going to get through this.
Yeah, addressing the problem in a very kind of coherent way, whilst also saying this is not a fight that's done.
Yeah,
like that's
this is not the way things are going to be.
No,
I think you'll find.
And with people like Kelly Marie Tran kind of leading the charge in that kind of change, and many others as well, but just her in this case, that is a reason to be cheerful. People
who are coming up and rising through into that big part of their careers, they're going to be able to make decisions and make examples and lead. That's what's exciting about it.
Yeah, totally.
Yay!
Yay!
Alan Horn was the
Alan
Disney man.
Horn.
Alan Horn.
Fuck
Ian.
Alan Horn.
Sorry, Alan Horn. Fuck Alan.
Ian's horns.
Alan! Fuck Alan Horn.
As well as so who else? So fuck Alan Horn. Fuck Johnny Depp. Are there any others?
Fuck Avi Arad.
Rick and Morty fans.
Arad.
Fuck Ike and Perlmutter. Fuck Rick and Morty fans. Fuck
everyone.
You, dear listener. Fuck you.
Fuck Mike Cernovich.
Mike Cernovich. Yep.
That's the weirdest delivery. I was like, "Fuck you, mister." I was like, "Yeah."
Fuck Aaron Paul. Fuck Logan Paul.
Wait, hang on. Which
Fuck
Paul?
Peter Paul. Both of them. All of them.
Wait, Aaron Paul?
Aaron Paul's
Not
done
Aaron
nothing
Paul.
to you.
Aaron Paul.
Jake Paul.
Yeah. Fuck
Sorry,
the Paul
Aaron
brothers.
Paul. Not you. You're
Fuck
good.
the Paul
You're
brothers
good.
and their creepy dad.
Bitch.
The Paul brothers. Aaron Paul's good. Logan and Jake, not so good. Different Pauls, not the same Pauls. Oh, too many Pauls. Too many Pauls.
Too many
That's like
Pauls.
my life. I know loads. My dad's called Paul, and loads of other people in my life are called Paul. It's very confusing.
Can you hear that sound, listeners? That's the sound of Matthew digging a hole.
I can't dig myself out of this.
But you know what you can do? Find another layer beneath.
We can swim down to the bottom and then swim beneath the bottom where we will find
The Meg.
Oh, boys, let me tell you.
Slick.
Ho, ho, ho! You know, you were saying before about marketing to as wide a base as possible being good business.
Yeah, this is...
Yes.
I mean, this...
You know?
You could literally just watch or just have a look at the poster.
Yeah.
Anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place. And you would know exactly how this is going to go.
Now, this is a story all about how a basic screenplay format has a shark in it, and it's just kind of, it happens.
It's a movie about a giant shark, and Jason Statham fights it.
See, now that, you got me.
Like, what more do you need to know? It's also clearly one of the latest in those long lines of movies where Hollywood is clearly... Well, it was co-produced by a Chinese production company. So it's clearly Hollywood going...
Production company or the state?
Yeah, I was going to say,
it's
a
a
state.
It's literally the state, I think, yeah.
So it is Hollywood going, you know what, it's like
a billion
3
people, yeah.
people there. So we should probably make some movies that appeal to them.
China, but also it's to do with data in the last sort of decade. China have suddenly started going to the movies more, like as a family
China
activity,
bringing over more foreign movies.
Yeah, it's because in China it's never been. It's not, you could say, like, as a family, like, name 5 activities you love doing. And most people would probably go, oh, well, I've got the cinema at some point. It's not really a big pastime in China as it is, say, in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
In the last decade, however, that has been changing. And again, it's because, like, Chinese stuff has been going out more and they've been bringing more things in. So it's that culture curiosity and everything. And, great. So Hollywood have really doubled down on this.
Hollywood!
To the point where now, alongside the Meg, films like The Great Wall, Skyscraper...
I still need to watch Skyscraper.
Yeah, there's a few of them actually out there. Pacific Rim 2.
We've had it in other films, like Iron Man 3 was a great example, where they've got scenes specific for the Chinese market, which include Chinese actors.
Which I think Michael Bay tends to do this as well, because his films... the Transformers films, as time has gone on, have done less and less and less well, sort of quote unquote domestically, meaning the US. But I've continued to not only do well, but I think have done better in China.
Warcraft did really well in China as well. Did
Well,
really well in China. It bombed everywhere else.
Yeah. Does the game? I don't know. Does that?
I'm not sure.
Brand recognition.
World of Warcraft. I know there is online gaming is a big thing in China.
I know it's South Korea are like the ones that are crazy
South Korea
mad
are big
for
on StarCraft. Like
it.
big on StarCraft.
Okay, specifically StarCraft. Is it? Okay.
But yeah, there's also a lot of online games have specific Chinese versions because of their internet censorship laws.
Yeah.
So I know that
and different belief systems and stuff can affect certain stories. Like for example, there's anything involving depictions of an afterlife.
Yeah.
If it cannot be tweaked to reword it as just spirits and ghosts and remove any references to the undead, they won't have it.
They're not big on
they won't take
skeletons
horror
and
basically it's just kind of gone.
Yeah, it's like a very specific
Jason
sort
and the Argonauts. The Ray Harryhausen stuff. Those skeletons all gone.
But the Ghostbusters reboot, for example, did not get a Chinese release, and it was very last minute that was just they decided no, it's not happening, and it's because they couldn't in any way recontextualize it that the ghosts weren't people who had passed on. Like, they couldn't change it. So these are just, like, mischievous spirits. Or, like,
I'm not scary things.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like...
not sure they contextualised that in the first place, to be fair.
Well, I think it's to do with...
film is not great.
I think it's to do more with, like, the way the story starts. Because, like, here's this house, and the people who lived in this house. It's like, alright, so the ghosts are the people who live in this house. You're telling us what happens after death. That's disrespectful. We're not having
We were
it.
the ghosts all along.
Yeah. Exactly. Because there's certain stuff like that. However... Again, it could just be to do with the artistry of Western filmmaking being fascinating to Chinese audiences.
Yeah.
Because there are different levels of film. I got to work in India last year, and we filmed within a Bollywood studios to make a music video. And while we were there, we sampled a bunch of stuff. We were like, let's watch a bunch of things as much as we can. Because we're like, when we ever get the chance to sort of go around the little exhibit part of this studio and look at the stuff they've made and be like, this is really cool. And there is notable differences in different countries of how films, especially stuff when it comes to visual effects and editing choices, are made. Some of the stuff we saw while we were out there was like, in terms of visual effects, like fantasy stuff, top tier and gorgeous. Other stuff, really kind of ropey in comparison. So there is that culture curiosity thing of China might be going, is this how America makes movies? Oh shit, okay. Do you know what I mean? There's that in terms of like the visual stuff, hence why things like Transformers are massive. Because it's a different visual style to maybe what they're used to domestically.
Yeah.
Also, Transformers transcends the language barrier by being complete fucking nonsense no matter what language you're watching.
Well, there's no dialogue in it. It's just punching.
I was 16 and she was 15. It doesn't count.
Romeo and Juliet.
Oh god!
But that's true. Like
that's fine. Ghost's not fine. Romeo and Juliet's fine.
But it's the reason why like dialogueless stuff translates perfectly into lots of countries, specifically physical comedy and I mean silent era film and stuff was shared worldwide.
Yeah,
like, it was everywhere because stuff plays in different markets. Exactly. Mr. Bean. Like, do you have any idea how big Mr. Bean is as a property? It's nuts. That cartoon and the original shorts, the original series, and the cartoon ones are everywhere on this planet. Yeah. They're absolutely everywhere, and it's because it is dialogueless. It's easy to relate to. Everybody can jump on board,
and it's good.
Matt Lucas's sort of experiment Pompidou did the same thing. It was huge in Europe and the rest of Europe.
Huh.
Over it was just sort of like, it's a funny little like slapstick silent comedy on a Sunday afternoon. The rest of Europe played massively because again, the language barrier was not there. It was gestures and grunts and noises and everything. So basically, there's a market in China, and Hollywood are cottoning on to that.
Yeah,
and as such, are doing something that is arguably really cool. And then you look into like the state applications of it, and you think, okay, it's good. But it's really cool. Is they're basically going right? Let's work together. Chinese studio, US studio, or US studio working for a Chinese distributor. Let's do this.
Multinational cast.
Yeah. And that's the first thing I'm going to point out about the Meg. It has got a really, really like diverse cast.
Very true.
In the best way. Like, it's not a thing. It's not brought up. It's not a focus.
However.
It
doesn't have a particularly well fleshed out cast.
That's true.
There are lots of people there.
Yeah, there are lots of really good actors from everywhere, all around the world. But
actually, there are lots of bodies there.
There are
lots of people.
They are not allowed or given much to do to showcase that they're good actors from different places around the world.
No, particularly when you've got 45 plus minutes before anything even resembling a show. So you're stuck with these people for a while.
However...
Oh, more however's.
I didn't hate that.
Yeah.
They were just 2.5D enough for me to actually like pretty much all of them.
Yeah, so I like could be a strong word. Like I tolerated, like in the same way that I don't hate the people that I'm sat on the tube with.
No.
Like they're there, and I'm happy to tolerate them. But nor do I like them either.
I hate some of them.
Yeah, I might hate some of them. But then I hated some of these people. Maybe did I hate some of? I think I hated some of these.
I don't
people.
think I hated anyone.
No.
I
wasn't a fan of that kid.
I thought the kid was fine.
I didn't like the kid.
She hears everything.
I think the kid's performance was really like impressive. I think the kid's character was creepy as sin.
Let's get down to brass tacks.
All right, let's break the Meg down.
Spoilers.
Well, before we even say spoilers, look,
because if we're going all in,
I will say this before we get into spoilers. If you want to see
spoilers.
If you want to see Jason Statham fight a giant shark, this is the movie for you. If you want it to be particularly gory, this is not the movie for you. It is definitely it's 12A.
I would argue that on your first point as well, because I think I didn't like this one nearly as much as you two did. I don't think I didn't get nearly as much Jason Statham versus shark as I paid for.
You went up to the booth at the Odeon and you went, "I'll have one ticket for Jason Statham punches a shark repeatedly, please."
This is what I wanted.
Yeah, I can see why you want that.
I got elements. I got little
snippets.
bits. I got
little
snippets.
nuggets.
But this film it exercises a level of restraint.
Yeah.
That I do not need.
Yeah, I
from
don't
my
want that
Jason Statham versus Giant Shark movie.
I feel you there.
I want take your Chinese money and swim with it.
Yeah, swim with it.
Just keep swimming.
Just
even.
keep.
Oh god. I've just forgotten about that.
That's an actual quote from the Meg.
Finding Nemo gets a goddamn name check in the Meg.
From Jason Statham, no less.
Singing it happily, word perfect.
Swimming towards.
Happily is a strong word.
Oh, come on. Even after he finishes the obvious line.
Any emotion would be a strong word.
In the background, it cuts the wide. In the background, you hear him carrying on with the swimming.
Gruffly would be the way I'd describe it.
Listen. Right?
He drinks too much.
Listen. What redeemed this movie in my not all the way to it being a good movie, because it's not.
No.
Is the fact that is the fact that it did not, for a moment, take itself seriously at all. And I think some people have turned around and gone, "Oh, this movie takes itself too seriously." I'm like, "What fucking movie? There's nothing in this movie is it taking itself seriously."
I think they're mistaking it
not the whole thing winking at the camera.
I think they're mistaking it not indulging more in its
ridiculousness. It could indulge more.
That's the thing. That's my problem. Is that it's not that it's taking itself seriously. It's that it's not taking itself stupidly enough.
Yes, they absolutely could have pushed it further.
There's only a few moments where it sort of almost looks down the barrel of the camera and goes, "Oh, am I right?" Yeah. There's only a couple of moments where that happens.
Rainn Wilson pretty much spends the movie doing
it.
Oh god.
And I love Rainn Wilson, so I'm biased.
I'm down for Rainn Wilson being this kind of weird combo of a schlubby Bill Gates meets douchebag Mark Zuckerberg combo mixed in with maybe a twinge of Justin Bieber's wardrobe. It's like the ultimate douche, and I'm into it.
When you first see him, they do that close, tight shot on his shoes.
Yep.
And he's fancy trainers.
Yeah, and I was like, are they dropping
Is that product
product placement immediately? But no, I think it was meant to be a statement of, this guy's got money.
This guy's got money.
It's
they just look like fancy trainers. They don't look that expensive. They're very clean.
They're clean trainers.
They're clean trainers.
They're also black and red, so there you go.
Blackest, reddest. His trainers
that's very true.
So let's spoil the shit out of this movie.
Let me correct them. Billionaire. Billionaire.
And we're not going to spoil this movie because, let's be honest,
you've already guessed what it's about when you saw the poster.
You already know whether you want to see it or not. We're just going to tell you what happens in it.
Yeah.
It's not going to spoil anything, don't worry.
It will, but it won't.
It won't.
Because,
It's like saying, would you like spoilers, guys? But this is the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You don't hear any spoilers.
Yeah. I tell you the title of this film, you've already got a sense of what's going to happen in this film.
It's a megalodon.
It's a megalodon, somewhere.
What this film really needed was Stephen Graham following Jason Statham around, saying silly stuff and getting berated by him.
Absolutely.
Why didn't they fit that in?
Why didn't they have him in that kind of enormous tan trench coat? The blue shirt.
This fucking hand cannon in his back.
Yeah. £5 piece of shit in your trousers. These are just things that could have made the movie better for me.
Don't watch the Meg. Go watch the Snatch. Go watch the Snatch.
Go watch the Snatch. Oh my!
Don't Google the Snatch.
Google the Snatch.
Streaming the Snatch. No, don't do that.
So do you want to just sort of break it down plot point by plot point, or do you?
I think we just go through the story at a casual pace.
So
I want to start at the very beginning. By the very beginning, I don't even mean the film. I mean the fact that this is a novel from when? 1997.
And it's been in development hell since then.
One of the first editions, we think it was the paperback edition, was printed with the caption on the front of the book, soon to be a major motion picture. Because the rights were sold.
He had aspirations for this thing early.
Yeah. And now 20 years later, he gets his bloody wish.
But it's not that bloody.
No, well,
No.
and the thing is,
then that's an issue. That is an issue.
So the movie is a remake of the prequel story, The Meg, or Meg Origins, and the first book.
It's loosely adapted from what I can gather, but I'm not familiar at all.
Well, because I imagine that first book was, it's probably a really kind of deep and complicated tone. Yeah. You probably had to streamline.
Hey! Just keep streaming.
The novel a little bit, because I'm sure it's super deepest bluest.
Super deep, super blue.
Bookmark is a shark.
So, yeah. I don't know what the book was like, so I can't attest to how good of an adaptation it is.
But we do know that the story is about a submarine team rescue specialist.
Yes.
Jason, whatever the hell he's called in the movie, Statham.
Jonas.
We're gonna call.
Oh yes, right. It's Jonas, isn't it?
I was going to say
Jonas and the whale shark.
Yeah. I was going to say let's just call him Jason Statham, but you're right. It was Jonas.
It was Jonas. Job is something else.
Because the biblical one is Jonah and the whale.
Jonah and the whale.
So he was Jonas.
Yeah. Jonas and the shark.
So
because it's symbolism, right?
Jonas Statham.
Yeah, it's very, very clever.
Yeah.
You just can't get how intelligent this film.
It's
asinine is what it is.
So Jonas Statham's a rescue man.
Jonas Statham.
And him and his submarine rescue buddies are rescuing some folk from a submarine that's under intense pressure at the bottom of the ocean. But that pressure's suspiciously targeted because the submarine starts crashing in from the different sides. And he has to make a difficult decision. If he sticks around and tries to rescue his friends, he and all the people they rescued, including the medic, are going to die. If they move now, his friends will die, but everyone they went to save will be saved. And he makes that call, and it's emotional, apparently. And then the submarine blows up because something attacks it. And then we get the credits. I didn't expect it to open kind of that bleakly. I thought we were going to have like the weird sort of pre-credits tag or something of like a boat being eaten. The one woman swimming at night, like in Jaws, like having sort of sliding along the water's edge.
How great Jaws is!
Yeah,
this film remembers its title graphic in this movie in the opening credits is the same as Jaws.
Excellent,
like the kind of topography of like the big long red letters.
And you saw the marketing guys. The poster was this lime green, like big sort of distinct. Oh wow. Okay, that sticks out from the ocean colouring. In the film, it's Jaws. Just Jaws. We're using Jaws. You're watching Jaws, sort of. It's Jaws, guys.
It's Jaws, but bigger.
It's bloody Jaws. It's a Jaws-a-ladon.
It's a megalodon.
Well, there could at least be another homage to Peter Benchley's oeuvre, with the giant squid being possibly a reference to Peter Benchley's The Beast.
Yeah. The giant squid gets.
That was the thing, remember?
The giant squid gets fridged really quickly. You saw it in the trailer, and you're like, "Oh, we're going to see a range of beasts." Now the squid's there just to show how big the shark is.
Yeah,
that's why it exists.
Well, after the title credits, basically, it then cuts to
3 years later
on this
it's
like a converted oil rig, which is becoming a research station, which is
a cool idea.
Which Rainn Wilson's put a bunch of money into
because he's very rich,
to enable to afford.
He's quirky and very
basically, rich. Double the employees, so one that's Western and one that's Asian.
Based on which country you're watching it in as well. Yeah. I did a bit of reading. Some of the scenes are indeed slightly different with different cast.
Is that right? Didn't I say? Because they do this. They film extra scenes in order to slot them in and out.
It's not like big stuff, but it is little things a character in the background has a line of dialogue. We'll shoot that scene twice with a different extra.
That's very good.
And basically, so what Rainn Wilson's put all of his money into is one scientific theory that the bottom of the ocean, guys.
Specifically the Thingy Trench.
The bottom of the they don't say the Mariana Trench, they say the Pacific Trench, I think?
Yeah, it's meant to be the Mariana
It's somewhere
Trench.
near Malaysia, though, is that right? Or Singapore or something. Somewhere, anyway. The bottom of that, which was previously thought to be the deepest point on planet Earth.
The deepest, bluest.
The deepest, bluest point. Is in fact not the deepest, bluest point, because that deepest, bluest point is in fact a mirage of some kind, and in fact can go deeper into some extra ocean, some lower ocean that is beneath the ocean.
It's like it's a layer of cold gas in the ocean that separates off a little microclimate ocean underneath it. To be fair, underwater lakes and rivers are a real thing.
They are a thing, but aren't they because of brine? Isn't it because the water is so dense with salt that it actually kind of hangs?
It's
almost like being unlivable.
It's to do with some of it's brine, but some of it is also like thermal currents. And,
okay.
And things like that. So
it's not complete guff.
I mean, it's almost complete guff.
But there is a nugget of unguff. Basically, Rainn Wilson has paid for this research team to take a submersible down beneath the deepest, bluest mirage of thermal currents or brine or whatever the fuck it is.
Bottom of the sea.
And have a look and see, one, that it's there at all.
Yeah.
That this thing is actually a thing.
And two, be careful, you might just crash into
exactly.
bedrock.
I mean, sure. I mean, when you put... What was the number they flew around? It was like 1.5 billion or something he put into this research thing. Which is, 1.5 Avatar box office. It's a lot of money. So basically, to go beneath this thing and see what's there.
Yeah.
That's basically kind of what they're aiming to do. And without meaning to, they stir up some stuff.
Yeah, well, they get stuck down there, and so you have to bring in Jonas Statham to come and save them.
Well, they had to find him first.
They have to find him first because he's in Thailand.
Yeah, because hey, he's not just in Thailand, guys. He's really let himself go.
He has really let himself go. He's
getting fired. He's been drinking all the time. He's so schlubby. In fact, when he takes his shirt off, you'll see how schlubby he is.
Yeah.
He's so schlubby that he goes back, that he gets a medical before he goes down to the dive, and the doctor, who is also the person who got him fired because he's the medic he rescued, and then he's all pissed off they left people to die because he thought he saw something.
This is sounding more complicated than the film, in fact.
Basically, they thought he was crazy because he was like, I saw something. What the fuck was that? I saw
Papa Lazarus.
I saw Jack shine under the sea there. It's a big shark. And everyone's like, no, you're crazy, Jonas Statham. You didn't see a big shark. Yeah, fuck off. Back to Thailand. You're not diving anymore.
Go get drunk. Rent out boats.
Oh, did he quit? Did he quit?
Also, why wouldn't they believe? What was their reason not to believe it? He's not got a history of making stuff up.
He had depth dementia.
Oh yeah, they do say that, don't they? They do say depth dementia, don't they? Oh, that's why. That. Yeah, okay, yeah. Of course, he has that famous ailment, depth dementia. The dreaded double D.
No, we're not talking about the Piranha movies.
Hey!
That's what this film could have done with, some of that Piranha camp.
That's the most common thing I've seen with it. Like, even like the most positive reviews were like, yeah, this was pretty good fun, but it should have been more
Piranha 3D.
Bloody.
Yeah.
It should have been not just bloody, but just like kind of campy and more stupid.
It was pretty campy. I'm pretty.
I want more.
Yeah, it could have been more.
It could have been more. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Comic Book Girl 19's Twitch stream about it. She mentioned that shot in the trailer, which is from the end, as we know, of everyone on like rubber rings in the beach, like all hanging out. You just wanted at some point for it to just open mouth beneath a load of clothes, and it never happened. So I'm you on that, Jelly. I'm just like
it's remarkably bloodless.
They didn't push it too much.
The
dog doesn't even die.
There was a bunch of much more gory stuff filmed, but they cut it down to go for a PG-13. And you know why they've done that? Because they wanted to get to as many people as possible.
Yep. I mean, it makes sense. It's particularly if you're going to go and have a Chinese co-production.
Yeah.
The idea of them not going for the widest possible audience base does seem a bit self-defeating.
Which is a shame. But
it's a cut down.
In the last couple of years between Deadpool and It, we've proven that like R-rated for the States, like high 15s, low 18 movies can actually do really well in the mainstream box office, but getting cold feet, I guess.
Or whether they do well in China, though. Crucially, do those films do well in China?
I don't know about that.
I wouldn't be surprised if the home video release was the unrated cut.
Well,
it would not surprise me.
I.e. over here a 15.
Would there be some
with
dumb
scene put back in?
Do you think there's going to be some dumb pun for that, like something to do with
Mega Edition?
Mega, something like that. In fact, I don't know why I'm asking a question to which I do not want to know the answer.
The Meg prehistoric cut. I don't know.
Something dumb like that.
This is why I don't do this anymore, Mac.
This is why I don't do this anymore, Mac.
You've always got a beer in one hand. So that's why I'm always drunk.
It's like, you drink too much. You're just saying that because I always have a beer in my hand. And why'd you always have a beer in your hand? I suppose it's because I'm always drunk.
There are certain scenes like that one which are more or less verbatim, which do read as if they were written by a Chinese person in Chinese first.
Google translated.
Google translated into English.
The exposition snuck into dialogue in a way that just makes you go, wait, what? It's so odd. Because the one moment that stuck out for me, and I think it was just me who clocked it in the thing, because I mentioned it afterwards, and you were like, oh god, yeah, like, it was about the ex-wife thing.
On this submersible that's gone down under the brine, happens to be Jason Statham's ex-wife.
Yeah,
Laurie. Of course. But we first discovered this in a weirdly shoved in line where they come to his thing, don't they? And it's like, right, we want you to help us, and it's like the professor in charge of the entire thing, who he greatly admires, and which again I noticed another review pointed this out. There is a trend in a lot of the American and Chinese co-production films where the eldest Chinese character is usually on par with the villain in terms of their position, but are morally superior and a good person. And apparently that is a trend in a lot of the movies.
Okay.
So whoever the villain is, there is always a counterpart to the villain, who is... The villain's an American actor.
Yeah.
The other one is a Chinese actor, and they're morally on a better ground. So the idea here was Rainn Wilson and... I can't remember the guy's name.
Villain is a strong word for what Rainn Wilson is.
Yeah. They retcon him into a baddie last second.
Kind of, but even then, like, not...
Not in a way.
He does is all that villainous.
No,
idiotic and pig-headed, maybe.
But they still have to give that scene where morally he's on bad ground.
He is definitely morally
which he wasn't
compromised.
But he wasn't as much till that scene, which is why it's really weird. But anyway, so there's that. But that professor arrives and he's with Mac. Who's called Mac just because they want a company guy to basically like.
You need a Mac. Yeah, you need a Mac in a film like this.
Yeah.
Because the character is also a cookie cutter anyway. You might as well have the cookie cutter name.
I'm surprised it wasn't a Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh god.
A Doc.
Doc, yeah. They do call him Doc Heller, though, don't they?
Oh, there is a Doc then in that case?
Yeah, I think they do call him Doc.
So they come to his flat and they say to him, it's like, well, we need your help. And he's like, right, here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell me about something. I'm going to refuse. You're going to offer me more money. I'm still going to refuse. You're going to try to appeal to my bad nature. I'm still going to refuse.
Because I don't have one.
All the same, let's just enjoy our beers and have a sit down. And you're just like, okay. And then basically he plays him a recording from the thing, and it's Laurie. He says, Laurie's down there. And you see his reaction be like, huh? And then, I keep forgetting the character's name, but the professor, the head of the thing. I will look it
up for you while you...
Go, he immediately... The very first thing is the very first thing he says is, your ex-wife Laurie and two other things are down there. And it's like, what? Huh? Show don't tell movie, but it's the beginning of this train.
This is the thing about and this is the thing with the language barriers as well. Is that like kind of it being this kind of clunky telling instead of just showing, because it might not necessarily read to a different audience. Well, I don't know.
Professor Zhang, played by Winston Chow.
Okay, because there's another example as well later on. Yeah, Bibi Ling's his daughter. Bing Bing Lee, sorry, not Bibi Ling. Why have I called Bibi Ling? Bing Bing Lee, BB-8. Bing Bing Lee.
Su Yin Shang.
It's Su Yin. And there's a scene where Su Yin briefly pervs on Jonas Statham in a towel. And then she does it...
Do you blame her?
Visually, with his tiny head and wide torso.
His weirdly out of proportion head.
Yeah, it's like someone...
He's so hench that his head looks... tiny now.
It's like one of those old school He-Man figures where they had like an elaborate helmet and that was an accessory, and then you take it off and the head's tiny compared to
just
the body.
Just to fit the helmet.
Those Power Rangers ones where they morphed, where you flip the head round and the head was really tiny.
It's just because he's so wide now.
Yeah.
He's so muscular, and unless there's some head exercise he just is failing to do.
I don't think you can bulk up your head.
You can't bulk up your head.
I don't think
so. Because he's lost his hair as well.
So
you grow your hair up.
You can't like.
Well, anyway, sorry.
He couldn't afro anyway. He's not got the thickness.
So Bing Bing Lee's character is perving on him. She does it once, then twice, then 3 times, all in a succession of 30 seconds. And then there's an entire scene where I think it's Mac briefly bumps into her and sort of is like, "Oh, are you?" And they have to sort of over-egg the joke that she's perving on him a bit. Because she's distant and not trying to, sort of, she's not looking for a fella, which they talk about in the movie. But she's starting to look at this guy. But it's the whole thing of, why are you over-egging this pudding? Oh yeah, because this too is exposition.
Oh yeah.
It's setting up, this is going to happen later.
They're going to be... Her 8-year-old daughter tries to matchmake them.
which is creepy. The way
it's very
done.
strange, and
does the eyebrow thing.
And yet,
I don't like children. They hear everything. Implying what? That you having sex with her mother?
On the subject of children, I just want to say that the kid on the beach at the end with the lollipop. He's credited as awesome kid on beach.
Excellent.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I mean,
he knows
his agent's writing his IMDb entry.
Definitely.
Awesome kid on beach.
That's great.
Not crying large child with lolly. Awesome kid on beach.
After everything's gone down and like the shark's gone, the first thing he does is put the lolly back in his mouth.
That was quite a fun
He's
shot.
held on to it for the whole time.
That was one of those shots where you went, there you go, movie. More of that. More of that movie.
But this is
so good.
This is the thing. You're kind of bogged down, particularly in that first half. And the description that we've kind of given of the plot so far, that's kind of the entire first half.
Yeah.
Overly
complicated nonsense.
You're left with these people kind of setting up but never actually engaging in character development.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
we're given back of the action figure bios
kind
for their
of
characters and their development and the story.
It takes, like, for me at least, like a turgid amount of time for us to actually get some big shark action.
And then we do get big shark action, and then it's over quite quickly, and then we get bigger shark action.
Yes.
Oh god, because this film should be called The Megs.
Megs.
The Shut Up Megs.
Oh!
You did it! Oh, exercise some self-control,
You're doing
Chris.
so well!
What do I win? What do I win?
Nothing.
You lose everything.
You lose everything.
I don't even get a no prize, I get an anti-prize.
Whichever Meg wins, Chris loses. It turns out that the original Meg that escaped...
I was picturing that poster next to the shark.
The original... Well, we start off with The Meg, which follows the rescue mission of Jonas Statham's ex-wife and others back up to the surface through some sort of heat tunnel that's released.
They fuck with the temperature balance.
There's a temperature balance from bottom ocean into our regular ass ocean.
Yeah.
Meg comes through that. For reasons I don't know why it would, because presumably it's way colder in our regular ass ocean. It wouldn't like that.
That's something
where it's warm. From where it's warm through it being really
well, that tunnel goes all the way to the surface.
Now that is explained in the book. I have heard about this.
Oh, okay.
In the book, there are
Tell me.
In the book, there are multiple sharks, but there is only one Meg that is like the antagonist of the thing the creature's having to deal with. Because they go down there, and the craft that they go down there, they find one of these sharks. It's recently been killed, so it's dying. And they latch it, they wrap it up in chains as best they can with the sub, and they pull it up for study. They pull it up through the crust.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
In the stream of blood that is flowing from the shark,
okay, that makes more sense.
Another one flows into it, following the scent, and goes up through it. So basically, in the book, it's a lot more metal. It's a tunnel of blood. Is how a Meg gets through.
Right.
Because the heat protects it. Like the heat from the body that is bleeding out protects it just enough to break through.
Fucking metal.
That is pretty metal.
But in this film, they just shortcut through that and go, as we went back through, we left a little hole for a moment.
It shows this kind of crude, kind of UV, sort of like heat map of what the entire ocean from surface to bottom looks like.
That area of the ocean,
and so
not the whole ocean.
Charlie. No, because it shows the pillar of heat, kind of going. Oh, maybe whatever. I'm spending more time thinking about it.
But apparently, two of these things came.
Two of them got out.
Or is it implying that the bigger one has been around for 5 years since that other submarine attack?
The submarine wasn't underneath the crust.
So how's no one discovered that then? How's no one discovered the shark already?
Oh fuck!
Yeah, I know, right? I didn't realise
the bigger one was the one from the prologue.
Yeah, but so it was already out.
So there was already a bigger shark.
And then that bigger one is also the one that comes and bites the
glass.
Yeah. On the research station.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because you get a bit of foreshadowing that the one they catch isn't the big one. Almost immediately before it's revealed, because as they're taking the photo of it.
Yeah, they're taking the pic.
And
the teeth are far smaller.
Yeah, so Jonas Statham brings
left teeth in the thing.
So and he's like, look, the teeth are not the same. again,
Really? Did they actually have that?
Yeah.
I must have nodded off during that bit.
It's like one line, and then immediately after that line, the shark jumps out of the water.
Right, okay. I confess there were a couple of moments where I did the whole head dip forward. Yes. So that must have been one of those moments. I completely missed that line. Yes. And the ex-wife line, actually.
I spent most of that movie just shaking with glee at how silly it was. And every time...
I know. Every now and again a hand clamped around my knee and clutched it.
No, I was just getting randy.
He's so attracted to men with tiny heads and wide torsos.
I mean, it is absurd.
It's a look. It's a look.
But basically, there's a part of the action kind of takes place on this this research facility in the middle of the ocean. Part of which is under the water in this kind of like Bioshock style glass tubing, and there are a couple of nice little visual moments there. When one of which is nice but fucking stupid, of the little girl kind of facing towards the camera as the enormous ass shark kind of reveals itself from the blackness very slowly and very quietly,
and then hovers there.
Just stands there staring at her through the glass as if it knows the glass is there. 2, it knows that she's looking away.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
So stupid.
And 3, as though sharks can suspend themselves
in
one spot. Like they're not just flesh torpedoes with teeth, which is what they are.
Yeah, that's all they are. Maybe the Megalodon's got lungs, I don't know.
Maybe, or, a hover pack or something, I don't know. Who's to say? Who's to say? I don't know.
It's just going back and forth. Very, very quickly. So quickly that you can't perceive it.
It is imperceptible to the human eye.
Imperceptible to the human eye. This enormous shark. It's imperceptible
to the human eye. The thing is, why I bring that up is because they are basically on this enormous water research facility that can seemingly withstand a megalodon bite, which it does quite soundly. They then proceed to get on the shittiest little tugboat I've seen in my fucking life, like not dissimilar to the one from Jaws.
Nope.
And they go searching.
Yeah.
This is no good. We can't
do that. But do they find a megalodon? Yeah. Do they find a megalodon?
Yes.
No. They find a morality tale.
Oh yeah, they got the
because the movie stops for 2 minutes, not much more, but 2 minutes to talk about shark poachers.
Yeah.
Because they find 2 boats which have been
the remains of 2
boats.
The remains
of 2 boats which have been abandoned because
no.
No way that shark has swallowed everybody because it doesn't do that at any other point in the film. It doesn't seem interested in eating anybody.
They fish out one arm.
They
fish out an arm.
Oh god. But we see a bunch of shark corpses with their fins cut off, and
Suyang
basically is like
with their fins cut off because someone says all these sharks have had their fins cut off.
Whilst the camera is looking directly at them.
Who would do such a thing? These ships belong to poachers.
And they have what they only each have for one bowl of soup or something. Sure. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem.
But maybe a slightly kind of not the most graceful way to address the problem.
When Jang says that, he is a marine biologist. He does have a vested interest in sea life, but also it is a moment it is the moment the movie goes, shark poaching is bad.
Double down on the stupid. Where's the scene of the shark poachers like gutting one shark or whatever and like, we are baddies, cackle cackle. Oh look, that one, and there's one near the boat just slowly moving and one of them grabs at it and falls in the water and then they get eaten by the Meg. Where's that scene where you go, oh, okay, you're giving us a message but you're doing it in a big stupid
it's going to be on
funny
the
way.
Meg Mega Mouthful Edition Blu-ray.
Mega Mouthful Edition.
Yeah.
Mega Mouthful.
You're wasted here. You should be working in marketing over at the Chinese state-run film production company.
How can we market to our audience best? Well, we are the state, so
they'll take what they're given and they'll like it.
You can kind of just do whatever you want.
We'll even give them shark fin soup bowls on the way in to watch the movie.
Oh no!
So it stops for that morality tale, which literally does screech to a halt.
Yeah. Like the Meg does in front of glass.
Yeah.
Before then, they then think, oh, I know a good way to kind of deal with the Meg. Instead of dealing with it in this enormous kind of fortified glass tubing that we have at this research facility, we'll put it in a kind of a shark cage.
Yeah.
A regular ass shark cage.
Yeah.
Which has like impenetrable glass all the way around. And then just a wireframe at the bottom.
Oh, and that's when Ruby Rose pipes up and says it can withstand however many thousand tons of pressure.
It's not going to break. It's not going to break. And to be fair, it doesn't break.
And it results.
The shark just swallows the cage, which is actually a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, it was like, okay, it's like, it's not breaking the glass, no, but it's eating me.
Yeah,
like,
it's
going to eat.
It's the one bit of useful information that Ruby Rose gives in the entire thing.
Because she doesn't teach us how to get her hair like that.
No.
Even though the other characters comment on it.
Which I don't know if you thought this as well, but I thought that was literally them addressing the fact that they've been reshoots.
I think it's just drawing attention
just
to
a
the
shit
fact
line.
that she's wet.
She has wet hair now.
Comedy, unquote.
Yeah.
Alright, so it was just a bad line.
I think it was a failed attempt at character comedy.
But also she then rebukes with like you want to talk or whatever, and the guy clutches his bald head and is like, yeah. And I think I said to you in the screen, I remember turning to you going, I think that was just an improv that they decided to leave in. Like it seemed like a bit of a back and forth. It's just there.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
that's funny. Put it in.
Whether someone wrote it, whether someone didn't, it's a rubbish line.
It's a bad line.
It's a rubbish line.
Yeah. Shut up, bread maker.
Sorry.
Stop beeping.
What's his name?
Also, it's around this point that the movie adheres to, and then also comments on the fact that it's adhering to black stereotype.
Yay!
We've got one of those. The one black character that can't swim.
It's okay. It's all right if you comment on it.
There you go.
It means it's not a racist joke. It's a joke about racism.
Again, it's not clever. It's not clever or stupid enough.
No.
To do that.
It's not.
If it went on either end of the spectrum or further, I think it could get away with stuff like that way more. But it's kind of it doesn't do it.
No.
Anyway.
Well, that's the other thing as well, isn't it? Is that Christ alive. That's the other thing is that it acknowledges the stereotype, but then it raises another question, which the movie asks: why can't you swim when you work on a research base?
You
in
do
the middle
work
of the
in
ocean?
the middle of the ocean.
And it wasn't part of the job description, and we all go, ha, it's funny. And then you think about it, and you go, no, wait, no, that is a completely valid point.
That's a silly thing.
That's complete. Wait, hang on. So this is just a racial joke. Like you're not trying to subvert it by taking the mick out of it because. No, like you designed the character to not be able to swim in a research station in the middle of the water. He's not a visiting character. He's not someone who's come in from the outside. Sorry, I revert to the Back to the Future 3 version of that.
It was very
ZZ Top song when I stress out.
Well, double back.
Yeah. It's a happy place.
Sure it is.
Sure, all right. It's easy top.
So it's at that stage where the Meg kind of finally shows up in earnest.
The proper Meg, not the fake Meg.
Well, we have fake Meg. That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
Is that fake Meg kind of finally shows up and is like, all right, Statham, let's go. Let's have a bit of a scrap. Yeah. And Statham kind of just appeases it.
Yeah.
Jumps in the water. And that's another thing. Considering that Statham was a professional diver at one stage. And I feel like they missed the trick by him not having a sort of a double flip pipe.
Yeah.
Kind of in there somewhere.
I mean, he does get that. He does get that moment where the movie tells you exactly what it thinks of itself. When she's in the shark cage, Suyin's getting in trouble, and she's being swallowed by the fake Meg.
They're both real Megs.
Yeah.
One is a smaller Meg.
The smaller Meg. It's the fake Meg. It's the fake out Meg.
One was the support act Meg.
Anyway, but you get that moment where and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go save her," and he runs out, and he jumps in the ocean. It's really cool. And then you just cut to Ray Wilson almost looking straight into the camera, just going, "Hell yeah!" And it's like that is when the movie is like, "Look at what we're doing, aren't we good?" And you're like. No, I'm having fun, but
give me a bit more of this in the next 25 minutes, and we'll talk.
And it almost does, but not quite, because you get that big Meg appear, and then it's like, oh,
they kill fake Meg.
They kill fake Meg.
Oh yeah, we did it.
Look at us. Where it does almost feel like, is this the end of the movie?
Yeah.
And it seems like a weird wind down.
They take their photos with it, and they're all kind of having a bit of a laugh and a bit of a jape.
Yeah, and it eats the wall.
Oh yeah, the wall.
The wall. The
DJ. I love these character names.
These characters. They just call him the wall. He's the big
Jax.
Scandinavian dude. Yeah.
Is that Ruby Rose's character?
Wait, was that his name?
That was his nickname.
His name is the Wall.
He's credited as the Wall.
He does have a name because it's on his thingy
I forget.
And he introduced him to that, but then everyone just calls him the Wall.
Yeah.
To the point where I can't remember what his actual name is.
Yeah, Mac, Jax, DJ.
These are like Mortal Kombat.
The Wall.
Like, offshoots.
Is this the Mortal Kombat 12 roster? Is that what this is?
Yes.
Jonas wins. Flawless victory. So it's at that stage because it's like the Jaws thing over at Universal Studios, the way it was sort of hung up.
Yeah.
That's what you've got with kind of fake Meg. It kind of hanging there, it's all bloodied up. We're like, yay, victory, huzzah! Before,
it comes out of the water, eats the fake Meg.
Yeah, eats fake Meg,
and like pulls the boat over.
Yeah, flips.
What I did appreciate is that shot of the Meg knocking the boat over is in the trailer, but the smaller Meg isn't in the shot.
Yes,
that was neat.
Yeah, that's cool that they actually took that step to be like save this. Because I'll be honest,
surprise.
My favourite moment in the movie was when the second one sprang up. Just like, okay, there's more movie.
And then basically,
it was a nice surprise.
They
Kel surprise.
They're like, oh yeah, fuck this, we need to go. They lose the dock. The dock sacrifices.
Oh, because there just happens to be a dinghy just there.
Yeah.
There was just a dinghy next to the boat.
There's a dinghy just there, and then in the next shot there's two dinghies because they're on a dinghy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
so
Mac's like, where's Mac? Oh, he's swimming out to that dinghy.
Oh, and then there's two dinghies. And everyone's then split off into two dinghies. Okay, sure.
Everyone's in two dinghies, and Rainn Wilson's ordering some kind of airstrike or something.
Yeah,
or is he?
Yeah. Because this is when the film decides to tell us that his character is actually disingenuous, and he's not just a bit ignorant and a bit bumbling and a bit selfish, but he's going to cover up the whole situation.
Yeah, because of lawsuits.
Everyone's
fucking dead. Who's going to sue you?
Also, who's going to sue you because of a giant shark?
Yeah.
A giant prehistoric shark.
Now,
whose fault could that be?
Dealing with the situation quietly, understandable. Man. He's the head of a big business, horrible stuff has happened, but it didn't happen because of him. However, if you want to wrap it up and then research it again in a different way, fair enough. But it's done in a way where it's like, he's sneaky, he's not a nice person. And it comes out of nowhere. Like, he gives a genuinely sort of kind of compassionate speech to everybody that ends with the dumbest line ever. I came here to celebrate with you. And now I'm here mourning with you.
No, it opens with that.
That feels like... Cause that's
is that how the speech opened?
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. Yeah.
That's one of those lines that feels like... Was this written in Chinese?
I don't know. I feel like someone wrote that and was like, "This is the best thing I have ever written." They're so proud of themselves.
So, honey, you'll never guess what? I crushed it in the writer's room today.
Look at the contrast I made between these two states of emotion. I'm such a clever writer.
It's all about ambivalence and juxtaposition. I'm helping.
Yeah. Yes. Then suddenly he's with his little crack team, firing machine guns at the corpse.
Oh, like
a
sort of SEAL Team 6 kind of Black Ops type.
Yeah, they're dropping
depth charge.
And they're all in black, and they're all kind of aiming their guns out of a helicopter.
The idea is that they're trying to say that they've blown the Meg up with these depth charges, and now they're just shooting at it for fun.
Just to make sure it's definitely dead.
And then like,
what harm can it do? Like, what's it going to do to it? What harm can it do for us? Keep shooting.
And then they send a guy down, and he's like, oh, okay, get a tooth from it. It's like, okay. And then you can't find a tooth on it, and then you're like, oh shit, they've just killed a whale.
Which begs the question, how the fuck could you not tell a whale?
Because they're idiots.
And that was the only gore. That was the only real gore in the movie.
Yeah,
as well. Like whale glory shots
everywhere,
and bubbling and all that stuff.
Oh shit! And then they take off, and he falls out of the helicopter, and they leave him behind. And then he gets chomped by the Meg.
Yeah,
in an apparently karmic death, but
which didn't seem earned as you know.
Okay, fine.
That kind of level of. Actually, it wasn't even that gory, really. But anyway, I liked
it. It cuts away just as it chomps down.
Yeah, I would have liked Rainn Wilson just to.
It chomps, and his hand is still in the foreground after it chomps, and then it cuts immediately back to everyone else.
So now we've got bigger scarier Rainn Wilson-filled Meg
and it's
on the
heading
loose
for the
now.
coast.
It's heading for Singapore.
Yeah, like a really densely populated beach.
Yeah, full of seemingly the worst people.
And then everyone realises that, oh no, he hasn't actually told the authorities about this giant shark.
Yeah.
We've got to go stop it on our own. We'll commandeer the evacuation boat.
Oh no, they do try to contact people. There's a very brief line. Jax goes like, "Yeah, we tried to phone it."
It's Mac.
Oh, Mac does it. Yeah, where he says like, "We tried to call it in, but apparently the Coast Guard think that we might be lying about the giant prehistoric shark."
Call.
And it's like,
okay, sure.
But coming from a research facility, like. Yeah. I don't know, do caller ID, people.
Yeah, I know, right?
Show that scene. At least show that scene and indulge in the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, whatever, man. Yeah. Like, just show that
dumb
scene.
kids.
And then have those big guys be the first ones eaten or something.
Yeah,
and,
that's some hubris that was there.
Bit of daft, sort of obvious fun.
No one is punished for their sins in this film because no one actually commits any.
No one's actually all that. Yeah.
Rainn Wilson is punished for last-second sins?
He's sort of short-sighted and a bit misguided. He's not actually evil.
Or unless this is subverting the whole kind of, narrative device. And just
it's not that clever.
This
No one who wrote this movie has ever heard of something called a narrative device. They think that's a spell checker. Like, no one knows what that is. But you get this neat sequence of, like, the Meg approaching this densely populated beach, and you get to see little spotlights of different little pools of characters,
all of whom are awful.
Yeah, there's a guy in a bubble, like
literally walking over people's heads.
And then there's the guys who are trying to woo the girls on the other float.
There's a neglectful mother,
and the kid with a lollipop, the awesome kid on beach,
as he's credited.
And she's just on her phone. He's like, I want to go swimming. No, you can't go swimming. I want to go swimming. No, you can't go swimming. All right, go swimming.
I want to go swimming, but I can't go swimming.
Because they're all so distracted and wrapped up in their own little bit of business. They don't notice.
They don't notice the enormous shark just underneath the surface of the water. And then all fucking hell breaks loose, but it's strangely bloodless, and people get killed, but there's no real blood. People get killed, but you don't really see it. The only person who you definitively see die and get eaten on camera is the dude in the bubble.
You only see the bubble burst.
You see the Meg chomp down
Which
the
is
bubble.
hilarious. Like, it can chomp into the glass of the research facility, but it needed just a second for comic effect before that thing popped.
Yeah.
Just like, okay.
Listen, plastics are tremendously flexible and resilient.
True.
So it's the material of the future. And then they've got this commandeered ship, and then they take two subs in to try and blow it up. These two little jet fighters.
They look like the little things that it was. To me, anyway, it looked like a callback to the weird Gungan.
Yeah, it was very Phantom Menace Planet.
Very episode 1.
I think we all turned to each other and went like, the planet core. It's so weird.
No, there's always a bigger fish.
There is.
In this instance,
literally always
there is
a bigger
always
fish.
a bigger fish.
We almost hit that poor Gungan. Why didn't we hit that?
Why didn't we hit
because
that?
Star Tours hates us. That's why we never hit him. Sorry, I'm just...
So they've got this sort of chase sequence, and then it fucks up Statham's sub, so he can't fire his jury-rigged missile at it. So
just at the last minute. Yeah. Oh no, he's pressing the button, the missile won't go!
And it tears up the side of his sub, so then he I'm gonna do it, and then he fucking uses the torn side of his sub.
He does a barrel roll.
So he does a barrel roll, and he cuts the shark open, and then he gets out of the sub, and then he stabs it in the eye. He stabs it in the eye. You almost get fist fight with a giant shark.
That's what I wanted the entire time.
Oh, I wanted more of that. And you get a little bit of it, and then it looks like it's not quite dead, and then all the tiny sharks eat it. And then a little shark swims out of its mouth, and it's not clear whether that's supposed to be a shark that's eating it and come out, or if it's supposed to be like a baby shark escape.
That definitely felt like it was just the shark eating it.
But I've seen people go like, oh, that was a sequel hook. I was like, it wasn't. If it is, it wasn't a very clear one.
If the sequel hook, if anything, was the revelation that there were two.
Yeah.
That's a sequel hook in itself.
But also, now we know that there's an ocean beneath the ocean.
Well, yeah.
We can go back to the ocean beneath the ocean.
The whole thing about the stabbing it in the eye, that made me kind of realise what it was I wanted from this.
I wanted more
which was Jason Statham pulling a knife from his belt, before putting it into his mouth and saying, with it in his mouth, "It's sharking time." I need more quips.
While underwater.
Whilst underwater. I wanted him to be able to somehow swim up to the shark and then be able to kind of hold himself upright and then basically box with it.
Holding onto one of the shark's fins, just snap.
Or he loses the knife. He just starts punching or kicking, doing his karate kicks.
It's like that shot. It's like that moment in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with Drax on the inside of the monster.
Yeah.
Just like
that would have been good.
A bit like what Dave Bautista's doing to Disney at the moment.
Stabbing from the inside, very good.
So yeah, and then it dies.
He shanks the shark. It sinks down to the bottom.
Gets eaten, and then he gets together with Sui-Yin, probably, maybe. And then
the kid's very happy.
The kid's very happy, and it comes up with Finn at the end.
Yes.
But Sharknado already did that joke.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Has that been done already?
Does that. Yeah.
Yeah, it finishes with Finn.
Yeah, I like this movie. It's silly. It could be sillier. It's fun. It could be more fun.
Yeah.
It could. It's fine. It's okay.
It's Finn.
But it's Finn. But it could have been so much more bombastic.
The version of this movie I had in my head going in was so much more stupid.
Yeah.
And so much more quippy and so much more Statham.
And it just didn't
It just never did it.
I still enjoyed it. But
I didn't hate it by any stretch, but
it didn't scratch on my itches.
It did not scratch my, this is a film with Jason Statham and a giant shark in it. It didn't hit every point it needed to hit for me.
It just missed the mark. So
I could have really done without the bloodlessness for a start. And
don't rush out for it.
No.
In fact, hang fire to see if they do a gorier, more violent Blu-ray release, and then maybe jump on that, because there is fun to be had here, but not quite enough of it.
Not quite enough
of it.
It's a wait for Netflix or
don't rush out to see it by any means. Although I think it's done pretty well, so we'll probably get a sequel. Maybe. Whether it be any good or not.
Do you think Statham would do the sequel?
Probably.
What else is he doing?
Yeah.
Like, he's not.
He's not like he's got some sort of like metric of quality.
Yeah,
he did Year of the King. What's it called? Was it Year of the King?
What's
the name of the king? The name of the king.
Yeah, he did a fucking Uwe Boll.
Anyone that's done a Uwe Boll film probably will do anything.
Yeah, I mean Ben Kingsley's done a couple.
Yep. And Ben Kingsley, he's won his Oscar now. He doesn't need to give a shit.
Christian Slater's did Alone in the Dark. What
Tara
else?
Reid.
Well, fucking yeah. She's in like all the Sharknado movies. So don't be telling me that Tara Reid.
As someone who's not seen the Sharknado films,
I've seen the first two.
Do you? Yes. Where does the Meg kind of fit into that oeuvre?
It's more enjoyable because the Meg's more enjoyable because Sharknado, while it is fun, it is deliberately trying to be bad.
Right. Okay.
It's deliberately trying to make.
It's not earnest, and it's
no.
badness.
It's making it's being made with the intention of it being fodder for a Flophouse. How did this get made? Etc.
Sure.
I mean, it's fun. It is fun. I enjoy the first two Sharknados. They are silly and fun.
Because there are 16 of them or something.
Yeah,
it's so low budget, and they're so.
Sharknado, the other one, I think is the second one. Is that the title?
Sharknado 2, the second one.
The second one. Sharknado 3, I'm not sure.
No.
Sharknado 4 is called May the 4th.
No, it's called Sharknado the Fourth Awakens.
The Fourth Awakens, that's it.
So it was as recently as 2017 then?
Yeah, that one was 2016. 2017's Global Swarming, and this year's is The Final Sharknado, It's About Time, which is a funny title on its own, but it's about time travel.
I'd heard it was about time travel.
So the title itself is kind of a great joke, and they should just definitely end it here.
Acknowledgement this has been going on too long.
They're so deliberately low budget
and
deliberately crap.
Yeah.
They're there to make you go, that was fun. But then after a while you go, they know that this is...
The fact that it's not earnest.
Some of the charm
the fact that it's aiming to be...
The Meg is deliberately silly, but it isn't deliberately crap.
Yeah.
The Room, Plan 9 from Outer Space, these are movies that they don't think they're crap at all, and that's why
they're made with a sense of like, I want to be an artist.
Yeah.
And
the
fact that it fails
none of that.
Yeah, because it's not swinging. It's not swinging and therefore missing. It's literally just putting the bat down and just walking away.
Yeah, and you can have that trauma angle. You can have that thing where the movies know that they're dumb and they're doing it because they're doing it for the love of that style. But then when you make 6 of the same one in a row, it's like, the appeal's gone, guys. The appeal's kind of gone.
It's like that whole Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus and that sort of thing. They're made with mostly B-roll.
Yeah,
like they're not.
The fact that Lake Placid and Anaconda have had a crossover movie now because they just want to cash in on the. Yeah. This is cheesy fun.
So the Meg, as far as all that stuff is concerned, it rates significantly higher.
Absolutely a better movie, and I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the 2 Sharknadoes I've seen.
Right,
because they do the Sharknado movies I've seen lean a little too hard into being crap.
Right. If we could get some sort of middle ground for the sequel to the Meg of like having it be like maybe get a chainsaw into the Meg.
There is if you want,
you know what I mean.
Well, that's a good question.
Like that would be good.
What should be
your business?
What should be the sequel?
Give
me a 1-sentence outline as what the sequel is.
Oh,
Charlie, go first. 1 sentence outline. The Meg sequel.
Well, I mean, the easy and obvious one would be that second shark is still on. Oh no, because it's been killed, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so we've got the kind of slit down the middle. The opening kind of prologue to it is you see that the kind of wound open up to reveal dozens and dozens of those like
know
that like
baby Megs.
Yeah, they're like sort of there's like mermaid pouches, like shark eggs.
Yeah.
In a like.
Godzilla.
I'm calling back to the Godzilla, and literally like zoom in onto one of the little pouches, and the eye just bing, and now it's Jason Statham versus Army of Megs.
What if it's
Meg Jr.?
Meg Jr.
What if it's Jason Statham and a Meg that he finds that imprints on him versus an army of Megs, a la the Godzilla series that sequelized the film?
Jason Statham riding a Meg to battle
with a chainsaw, of course.
With a chainsaw. He's literally got reins in its mouth.
Yeah.
He's holding it with one hand. He's got a chainsaw in the other.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell is also there
for reasons.
Because Bruce Campbell.
All shark people. Fuck, what's his name from Jaws? Fuck. Close Encounters.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Have Richard Dreyfuss there, and some 80-year-old.
I do like Richard Dreyfuss in things. I could go for that.
Just have him reprise the role. He reprised it in Piranha 3D.
Yeah, why not?
The movie opens with him playing his Jaws character.
Oh my god!
Cool J coming doing a song for it.
Yes.
Doing deepest, more bluest. My hat is more like a shark.
My hat is prehistoric. I feel like I'm leaning into Sharknado territory now.
Yeah.
My pitch is one word.
What?
Oh, go on.
Megnado. It's just a bigger Sharknado.
But with Meg.
With Meg. Just filled with Megs. Just, you thought the sharks were bad last time. Now they're about 80 times the size.
There's a bunch of Megs. Land Megs. Megs with legs.
The Land Megs with legs!
Megs with
That's
legs.
the one!
Megs with legs.
That's the one! Megs with legs!
Walking around like the street sharks. Or like Zarbi, they've just got human legs.
Oh, God. To the People's Republic of China and their film board, do get in touch.
Megs with legs! Yes! Oh, genetic engineering. That's also going to be the next Jurassic World movie. Excellent. The next Jurassic movie is going to be a Jurassic World, the Meg crossover. It's going to be Megs with legs.
Oh. Jason Statham riding the Meg onto land. It continues on with. I'm imagining it with kind of like spider legs, like it's got 4 on each side.
Yeah, and then he's
like a lobster,
like scuttling.
And then he meets up with Chris Pratt
riding a Velociraptor, or riding a T-Rex. They high five
the T-Rex.
They somehow high five one another. Yeah. And then they are
very awkward because the legs are very big.
Meg's higher.
It's a long stretch.
No, because in all right, we're in the let's not give away all our secrets just yet. I feel like we have an idea here. We have an idea. We just need
fine tuning.
I don't even think we need that. I think we're already there.
Several $100 million.
We need all the millions of dollars. Just
to make this happen.
This is we'll set up a Patreon for it.
We just
it
need one shot as they all charge a Meg with legs and a T-Rex being ridden by Jonas Statham and Chris Pratt. and they're both these animals are wearing heels and running, and they're charging toward the big hybrid, genetically engineered Megasaurus Raptor by Verizon or whatever it's called, and just out of shot on the edge of a boat, lifting up his stump, is a slightly haggard-looking Rainn Wilson who goes, "Hell yeah! Again!"
Yes!
As they charge into battle.
I like it. I also like the idea.
He's got a slightly melty face and
the,
one arm.
The Jurassic World thing has got me thinking of maybe not Jason Statham versus Giant Shark, but Jason Statham combined.
Combined with Giant Shark, yes.
Give Jason Statham shark DNA.
I'm a megalodon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We're sequelizing this. We've got a franchise already.
We're going to kickstart it, and we're going to make the sequel to someone else's IP. And when someone comes after us to stop it, we're going to be big whiny babies.
We'll write a pissy letter and then give everyone their Twitter handles in order for the people to berate them.
Yeah, and Rainn Wilson will direct.
Speaking of people berating
Rainn
people
Wilson.
Twitter and emails. That was time for our emails.
You people have been berating them.
We've got a couple to catch up on. No, we've not got loads. But we've got this one coming in from Lewis. Says, "Greeting big damn dammers. You big damn dammer.
You big old
I've been watching Matt Groening's Disenchantment on Netflix recently, and I'll be honest, it's pretty great.
Oh.
I didn't expect much going in, but I'm a fan of Groening's work, so I give it a go. And I'm pleasantly surprised. It starts a bit slow, but it quickly picks up the pace, and it's a fun, quirky little fantasy show with good characters and great visuals. It's not as good as The Simpsons, but it's worth a watch if only for Matt Bloody Berry, who's amazing in it.
That's true. That's true.
Give it a go if you haven't already. Also, what are your favourite directors / extended cuts of films? Ones that are legitimately better than the theatrical version. I personally love the special edition of Terminator 2, which is now the only version I'll ever watch. That's all from me. Goodbye, all." Well, Terminator 2.
Thank you, LP.
I would say for the most part,
Yeah.
there are obviously a few exceptions which we will touch on, but I would say that the version that ends up in cinemas is usually the better version.
Yeah.
That director's cuts, generally speaking, I'd say aren't better.
Blade Runner, director's cut.
Far
superior.
Yes, and if you take the Lord of the Rings films, for example, when they got extended out, the bits that were cut, there are some beautiful sequences in there, and I prefer to watch it, but I think as a film, those theatrical versions are the better films because they are more streamlined and they're more economical with their storytelling, which generally speaking I'd say is
I think they could just split the difference on some of it, because then you get to the third film and then you've got like things like the crystal vial and elven rope and stuff like that, which isn't really explained properly.
That's true. They
sort of could like put maybe one or two scenes back in Fellowship would help the overall shape of the trilogy, but they're so well made that I think they get away with it.
And that's I do want to clarify before you guys get emails that those versions are definitely my preferred way of watching them.
Prefer the
I definitely prefer them, but
I don't think they're better films necessarily.
Something like we said Blade Runner.
Daredevil is not a good film, but the director's cut is a vast improvement.
Yes,
it is also still not a good it goes from being a 2-star movie to a 3-star movie, but
that's not bad. That's 50% better.
That's true, but with the additional 45 minutes put back into
45 minutes?
That's how much they cut.
The theatrical cut is, I think, an hour and 27 minutes long.
It's not even 90 minutes long.
The director's cut is just over 2 hours, back a few minutes, and it's so improved for it. There's an entire sideline with Foggy and Matt and their actual lawyering, where they learn about Fisk's operations through that side of stuff. There's a completely extra storyline with a different character. Elektra is fleshed out a bit more so that you get to know her, as opposed to her just being weird, breathy Jennifer Garner going and throwing daggers at people. There's more to it, and there's more scenes with Colin Farrell, which instantly makes it better.
Yes.
Him dicking around his bullseye
I'm
is the most
glad,
entertaining thing about
I'm
that
really,
movie.
really glad that, just as a side note, I'm really, really glad Colin Farrell's seems to have been reassessed by everyone, and everyone now thinks that he's great.
Yeah.
Because
I never did.
Because there was a while there where people would people
just
didn't seem to rate him all that well.
He was like, it's that guy from Phone Booth.
Thinking he was bad.
But he had a kind of run of a few kind of high-profile duds.
Definitely been in some bad films.
And some terrible wigs.
Yeah.
Oh, and the director's cut of Daredevil puts back in the only F-bomb that was in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Which was Colin Farrell, Kingpin, played by Michael Clark Duncan, who's absolutely astounded in that role. And then D'Onofrio comes along and it's like, I can cope with the notion that we'll never see Michael Clarke Duncan play that part anymore because this is so good, but he also is still great. Michael Clarke Duncan says to Colin Farrell's Bullseye, says, "Will there be anything else?" And he leans across the desk and he goes, "Yeah, I want a fucking costume," which was improvised on set. They liked the line so much that they asked him to do a safe version, which is why in the actual film he says, "I want a bloody costume." And then they use that. And the director's cut goes, "Nah, fuck that, put the original improv back in. It's much better."
It's good.
It's good. And he just gets to be more unnecessarily creepy. And the director's cut of Daredevil is not a good film, but it is a much better film than the version that you've already seen, folks.
So it out. And then
Aliens.
Oh, is that
it?
The Aliens that everyone knows from the home video version is the special edition, which is like 45 minutes longer.
Yes.
Oh, right. That's the only version I've seen.
The theatrical cut of Aliens starts with Ripley on the fucking station, on the hospital station.
Yeah,
right.
And it doesn't have the stuff with Newt before.
Yeah, it doesn't have the glimpses of the colony.
Yeah, it doesn't have the glimpses of the colony.
It doesn't have the Mac McDonald, whatever his name is, Captain Red Dwarf. It doesn't have his little moment.
Yeah,
right.
The first time you see the colony is when they get there and see the destruction. You don't have any of the pre.
Yeah, this is people living and surviving. And,
it's a lot shorter.
And again, it's also little moments in the film itself, like certain stuff's cut. The scene with the turret in the corridor and stuff, for example.
That's not in the theatrical cut.
I think I'm sure it's there, but it's like 3 minutes shorter.
I don't think you get the moment
which takes away the tension of them just. Because again, that is one of the tensest moments in the movie, and you don't even see anything.
No.
You just see flashes of something crawling and a monitor going and a number going down.
Yeah,
and it works because of how prolonged it is. Because you're right there with them going, and it's lost in the theatrical cut.
The director's cut of Alien, not as good as the original.
Yeah, too long and too drawn out, and not enough music
and
as well.
And by Ridley Scott's own admission,
scored.
The only reason he did it is because he could. He doesn't even think it's better.
It does beg the question, why?
Because he was going to get a cinematic re-release, so he was like, "Oh, I'll go back and do a director's cut," and he did a director's cut, and it was like,
"This is worse.
This is actually worse."
Why Ridley? A question we will continue to ask.
It goes to show that Ridley Scott doesn't necessarily know what the fuck he's doing.
No, he could do with having some oversight.
Yes.
I'm glad that someone's enjoying Disenchantment, because as it stands right now, I'm not. I've only seen the first one, and I'm really struggling with it, and it looks cheap as shit.
I've seen the trailers, and I'm like, this looks interesting, but not interesting enough to get me to actually watch it.
It doesn't look like a professionally made cartoon. It looks like one of those sort of flash animations that used to be on Newgrounds and stuff like that. Those websites,
like Flash can work if directed right, but if you're noticing it too much,
it looks really, really cheap, particularly by the standards of The Simpsons and Futurama.
I had a similar thing with Final Space on Netflix. I had a friend of mine recommend that to me, and I barely made it through the first episode. The main character is so fucking obnoxious, and the humour is so fucking obnoxious. I'm just like, I actually can't.
What I'm struggling with Disenchantment as well is what Futurama had, which was really, really helpful, is you had Fry as the kind of
as your
audience avatar to kind of like to be like, oh, this is why this is all weird. Whereas in this show, everyone kind of already exists in the same world a little bit, and doesn't. So
it's a little inaccessible.
It's and it doesn't seem to be taking advantage of its own potential silliness either. But I'll stick with it if this guy's enjoying it, if Luke's enjoying it as much as he says.
Lewis,
sorry.
I've had to give it a go just because I know that it's the writing pool on it is a mix of the people who used to write for Futurama, specifically the revival.
Comedy Central.
And some of them are writers from the UK who worked on the Fremantle, and Josh Weinstein, who was the showrunner of Futurama, produced a puppet show for the UK called Strange Hill High.
Okay.
And that had some wonderfully dry, like British oddball humour to it. So I'm interested in watching it. And I know one of the writers who worked on that has written one of the mid-season batch of episodes for Disenchantment.
There's only 10, and they haven't started work on the next ones yet.
Yeah, so he's written stuff that's in the latter half of the season then. So stuff like that's made me go like, oh, I'll give it a go, because I want to see how the British stuff's leaked into it, see if it's kind of there. But yeah, I hope it gets better.
I hope so.
For your sakes and the show's.
Well, because anything Matt Groening does from Life is Hell all the way up through, The Simpsons and Futurama and beyond, I will always kind of take the time to...
Always worth checking out.
Yeah, to check into, because despite The Simpsons' kind of steady decline in quality, he has always been someone that I've always been really interested in, and his stock, culturally is always going to be high, just when you think about the kind of influence he's had. And so, it's a new thing, it's a new intellectual property, it's a new batch of characters, so maybe it is just the case of kind of working. And, like, if you think of what The Simpsons looked like in its first season, and how it kind of developed, how people literally found their voices as time went on.
More.
So,
I'm Walter Matthau.
Yeah. So hopefully, it'll speak to me a little more as time goes on.
Yeah.
Do you think what it needs is Megs with the legs?
Now that that's in my head, I think everything could do with that. To be honest,
everything needs it.
Tonight's episode of Casualty.
Yeah.
What the hell?
If you've been affected by the stories raised in tonight's episode, do please call the National Meg Helpline.
This next one comes in from Ian.
Hello,
It contains no Megs or I guess it's got some legs in it. No Megs though. Oh God, some weird questions in this. Also, I've been instructed...
Should we answer them one at a time? Just because I feel like we forget
I've been instructed to read this in the voice of Margaret Thatcher.
Oh well, you had laid that gauntlet down.
This lady is not for by your comment about Whittaker's TARDIS being a ball pit and her losing balls. Hasn't she already lost hers when she
Boo!
regenerated?
Boo!
Bad!
Not because that was any a sexist or anything. It's just a shit joke.
That's not good.
Boo joke.
That's not
Boo
good.
Rubbish joke.
Rubbish.
I boo to your rubbish joke.
How dare you?
Not enough Megs, no legs.
Any plans for Halloween? What costumes will you be wearing to hide your mortal human form?
Well, what I'll be doing, in fact, is removing my mortal human disguise and revealing my lizard person interior.
I have no idea. I haven't thought that far ahead. What would you be doing for Halloween, Chris?
I normally avoid Halloween just because, doing stuff with kids' TV, I don't want to be opening the door, really. Because it's like, hi! But then last year, or the year before, I threw caution to the window and went, sod it. And I stuck a gremlin and a ventriloquist doll in the window. Mm-hmm. So it really was that thing of these kids.
Not stuff you bought for Halloween, just stuff you had in the house.
But it was like, these kids have got to really want these sweets to come down this driveway. Like, I saw kids go at the end of the driveway, look at the doll in the window and be like, and turn away. The ones who did come to the front door were greeted by me dressed as a ventriloquist doll. And that was fun. Yeah, so I don't really do Halloween. Lucy loves Halloween though. We've got spider lights and everything. She loves it. So I don't know what I'm doing for Halloween. I'll probably get drunk at 6 a.m. and play until dawn.
I'll do what my usual kind of because I like to kind of theme stuff around sort of films and stuff like that. So what I'm probably gonna do is have a few drinks and go out and do some murders.
Yeah. The Purge style.
Yeah, Purge style.
Yeah.
It's good old fashioned murdering.
Yeah. Halloween Purge. It's good.
Cool.
Disclaimer.
A couple of.
No. I'm gonna. You don't have to do a disclaimer. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. I got a couple
Send
of
in your addresses.
Yeah. I'll just be out and about.
Just be out and about.
So a couple of this or that's, which I'm not going to do the Thatcher voice for because I can't be asked.
Okay.
1960s Time Machine or 2002 Time Machine film.
Oh, 60s. Good God.
Yeah, 60s.
Although, it was Guy Pearce. I like Guy Pearce.
Yeah,
just stick Guy Pearce into the 60s one somehow.
Yeah.
Have him appear in the 60s movie with the 2002 Time Machine. And be like, oh no, I've crossed my own timeline in an alternate reality.
Or have him be what they call the Gargamels. What are they fucking
the Morlocks.
The Morlocks.
Yeah.
Have him be a Morlock.
Yes.
Sticking out of the mouth of one of them.
Yeah, that's a cop out, but yeah.
Hello! I'm the Mandarin. Get back in there.
Hello, I'm Guy Pearce. This is not how I sound, but it's how I sound in this film.
Remember how Samantha Mumba was in that film?
Do you remember
Samantha Mumba was in that film?
Do you remember Samantha Mumba being an actor, being a thing?
Remember Samantha Mumba being a thing?
Yeah. Gary Oldman was in that. It was the sort of weird. Was it Gary Oldman? He was sort of weird.
It was an early 2000s fantasy movie. I could imagine that.
Oh, quite possible. Oh no! It wasn't. It was Jeremy Irons.
Oh, was it Jeremy Irons?
I think it was Jeremy Irons.
I'm sure it was Jeremy.
He shall practice his courtesy.
Send in corrections.
Yeah.
One misses the days when one's biggest problems will wind up penguins.
Osmosis Jones or We're Back, A Dinosaur Story?
We're Back, A Dinosaur Story.
I've not seen either.
That's my fucking jam. I'm so pleased someone else has heard of that. I thought I was the only person that...
I'm aware of it. I've never seen it.
We make winter in the dawn of time.
Yeah. Sing a song with me.
Okay.
Do you know what's really fascinating? Is it Warner Brothers? I think it was Warner Brothers.
I think it's Warner Brothers. Yeah.
Oh no, it's Universal. It's Universal distributor. Universal released 2 films back to back at the end of November and the start of December in 1993. One of them was Way Back, A Dinosaur Story. The other one was Schindler's List.
Oh!
That is the biggest mood swing I've ever seen a studio have in my life. I'm going to say Osmosis Jones because it's a fascinating story when you think of it as not the story of a guy and his body breaking down and it being personified as a cop show. It's fascinating when you look at it as Bill Murray signed this contract, is being paid for this. Watch him mostly not give a shit whenever it cuts to the line.
Every single film Bill
Murray.
It's
the weirdest one because it's juxtaposed with this weird, vibrant animation nonsense going on that suddenly just cuts back to Bill Murray not giving a shit. It's really weird to watch.
They didn't actually have an act. He was just.
They just followed him around. They followed him around, and they made sure he got a cold.
Yeah.
So they could film.
Well,
some
what
scenes
my
with
one
him.
has is John Goodman as a T-Rex.
Sold.
Yours has the circus stuff.
Yeah, with the weird
That's demented.
Professor Screw-Eye,
Who disappears in like a
cloud of
like
crows. It's implied that they eat him within seconds and leave the screw that was embedded in his eye, which somehow controls not only dinosaurs but also people's minds. Yeah, it's a dumb film. It's something to do with this brain drain, which is a thing which I can't quite remember.
It's in that early 90s, like Don Bluth and a few of the studios started doing a darker version of Disney in the 80s. Yeah. So then every studio just threw batshit mental concepts at the wall and made it, and so many of them don't work.
No.
But they're but that's the same thing as the Brave Little Toaster, same era as that.
Yes.
And the Land Before Time.
Slightly,
but that realm of
Brave Little Toaster at least was based on a book.
Secret of Nim.
Yeah.
And these sort of films where you're just like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And some of them are beautiful.
Well,
and
this
others
is the thing. It's like children who were born in the 60s and 70s, children of the LSD generation, when they're in their 20s and 30s, they're going, I'm going to pitch this thing. Their brains are so fucking fried by their parents' drug abuse.
Is it Fern Gully, where the villain is a cloud of smog and pollution?
I mentioned this on
Tim Curry.
And it's called Nexus.
And it's Tim Curry.
Where he sings about toxic love.
Yes! Oh, I should watch Fern
Gully. Fern Gully is worth skipping, but if you can find that song on YouTube, it's worth finding.
I think it's on Netflix, so I might as well just look it up and
slime up above.
Is Fern Gully the one with basically the Vor song, where it's just that lizard who randomly sings about eating something, and then that's it, and they move on.
To eat somebody,
might as well be you, and that's it. It's
very, very erotic. There's a lot of tongue action.
Okay.
The music is kind of jazz, kind of slow, sexy jazz.
And it's akin to the, I hesitate to use a term coined by the Nostalgia Critic, but it's very a big-lipped alligator moment.
Yes,
All Dogs Go to Heaven or whatever it is, where there's just randomly a scene with a sewer alligator, and it happens, and then it's gone.
That's become a TV trope. Like that's
it's coined on Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah.
Back in the day, before they were taping people to walls and not providing water at shoots.
Yeah, I mean, lots of stuff is started by terrible people, but we adopt it.
Yeah,
we'll take because it's a nice kind of way of describing the thing.
Oh, actually, no. Lindsay Ellis coined that term in the crossover review that they did when she was Nostalgia Check. So it's fine. It's okay. A nicer person coined it.
Yes,
not an oblivious.
What was the next?
Cheryl Cole.
Or
Guy Lambert.
No, Cheryl Cole.
Cheryl Cole.
Yeah. She's got a funny voice.
Can I have both?
Guy Lambert. Guy Lambert.
You might have to go between though.
Wave to Guy.
I don't think Cheryl's Guy's type.
Let's wave to Guy.
Okay. I've never met either.
He's all right. This Guy.
He's a lovely man.
Fine, I'll take Guy.
He's a lovely man with wonderful legs.
Wonderful legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never really examined his
legs. He needs to attach them to a Meg.
Can I keep them?
Yes. No Megs, no legs for the rest of the podcast, which is not going to be very long. And finally, meat paste or a milky brew?
Oh, a CBBC question.
Meat paste.
Really?
Yeah.
How milky's the brew? How long's it been brewed?
Milky brew is simply the term coined by Hackety, Doggedy, and Sterling. My brew, even though referred to as a milky brew, was always how I just have it, which is with a dash of milk.
Yeah, dash is Does that constitute a milky brew? Because milky brew to me is the one that looks like sort of glue. That kind of the greyish colour.
Yeah, meat paste is going to be more consistent a flavour. Not necessarily a better flavour.
Yeah, I don't want meat paste at all.
More consistent flavour than a milky brew.
I think I'd go for the milky brew. Because even if I threw it away, it would feel less wasteful anyway. Because throwing away meat paste, that something died for that, and it still tastes like garbage.
Yeah, true.
Possibly. I've not had meat paste.
I don't know. Meat paste is pretty good.
I've got meat paste. Get it down
Final
your
question.
face. Get your meat paste
This one
down
comes in from
your face.
Tom Monty. It's a last minute question, so obviously a response to your asking for anyone who wanted to neg the Meg. And on that theme, he asks, Aliens of London, World War III. I really bloody love it. It's funny, intense, emotional, and silly. What more could you want from a Doctor Who story? To what extent do you agree/disagree?
This is like the worst exam question ever.
Yeah, it's like, it's
Series 1, so it's perfect.
It's Series 1, it's really
Fuck
good.
you, listener.
I agree. It's a very good encapsulation of modern Doctor Who, what it could be, what it would later become.
I'm shaking my booty.
You are shaking your booty.
I have seen that episode, because I watched all of that series. I don't remember it.
It's the one with the baby-faced aliens and Annette Bedland being fabulous.
Got to triplicate the flammability of this alcohol. But we all got. Wait, sorry, hang on. You're going to triplicate the flammability? Yeah, you're making it up. Oh well. It's. I love it. It's series 1. I love it.
Also,
I love it. It's perfect. It's series 1. It's got farting aliens, and yet they still feel like a credible threat.
It lays down.
It's wonderful.
It lays down one of the many.
Jackie Tyler slaps the Doctor.
Which is?
Well,
victory should be naked. Because it should be.
That's something to put on the tombstone.
And on that note, let's
steer us home, Matt.
Take off our pants till next week. Thank you for listening, as always. Thank you for joining us, Charlie.
Very, very welcome. Thank you for having me once again.
They will embrace you and your Whatsits. Tell the listeners where they can find you and your Whatsits. Lizard or otherwise.
I am on both Instagram and Twitter as @CharlieDeMelo, which is CharlieDemelo.
Yeah, boy.
You can catch us in our filth at Big Damn Cast, of course, and the Big Damn Channel and Big Damn Stream on Claire.
And please feel free to email us Doctor Who questions or anything else that might not be Doctor Who questions.
Oh, please, can I interrupt there? Don't email me.
Don't send anything.
I don't want to hear from any of you.
No, Charlie.
Fuck you, listener.
Fuck you, listener.
You can go and you can look, but you cannot interact.
Touch. No eye contact, no touching.
Yes.
It's his own personal strip club. You may watch.
I save the kissing for the person I'm going to marry.
If you want to get in touch with Chris and I, bigdadcontact@gmail.com. We're off to go start crowdfunding Legs with Megs. Megs with Legs.
Megs with Legs.
Legs and Megs.
Also could work.
Legs on...
What could leg be short for?
Legend...
Lego, Mego.
Lego,
Megalodon.
It's a Lego Madon.
Lego Madon.
The Lego Movie 3, Lego Megs.
Legs Megs.
Oh God, we're gonna get sued. Bye!
Bye!